Hello. Hello. Oh, hi, Yui. Hi. Hello. Hi, I figured out my mic issue. I don't know how it happened. I'm okay. I'm fine. I figured out my mic issue because I went to wait, before that. Hi. Oh, hi, Yui, my straw bunnies, my sweet, sweet straw bunnies. Hi. Hi, Helen, and thank you for being a member for 14 months. Hello. So I went to record something this morning, and the waveforms weren't even appearing, and I was like, okay, my gain is all the way up. What is happening? I was like, I can't record in these conditions. So I saw this Twitter post the other day that was like, what's it called? Windows something. I don't know. Windows has done something, and there's this new setting. I looked, that was not it, because I didn't have the setting, so I was like, okay, that's weird. And I ended up finding my specifics microphone input in my settings, which I've never fiddled around with before. But for some reason it was all the way down. And I have no idea why, because I didn't touch it. I didn't do anything with it, so I don't know how that happened. Sorry if you hear dishes clanking. My waiting room was long because, or my waiting screen, I don't know. It was long because I went to put some salmon and rice in the microwave. Salmon, and I'm mixing it because I haven't done that yet. Salmon. Is Baby Yui sabotaging you? I can see that. As you can see from my schedule, we are going to start fulfilling, I am going to start fulfilling Donathon goals this week. We are doing 2 of them. Serena and I are playing League tomorrow. And then on Thursday, I'm gonna do the thing. I'm gonna meow for a whole stream. I'm very excited. I don't know why I'm excited about meowing for a whole stream, but I really am. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm gonna play chapter 1. And then I know I said that I would probably be gone next week for a little bit. But I'm actually gonna be gone this weekend. My grandma is still in the hospital. She has pneumonia, but she has Huntington's, so it's a little more worrisome, but they think she's gonna be okay. But so I had the choice between going this weekend and going next weekend, and I want to see her as soon as possible. I'm trying this new thing called living life with no regrets, you know? So I think that health is very spontaneous, and if something happened, I would really regret not going to see her as soon as possible, you know? Till we wish her a recovery. Yeah, I hope so too. We'll see what happens. But yeah, they think she's gonna be okay, which is good. Oh, my bowl is nice and warm. It's been really cold in my room. As I told you, there's a draft, like an actual draft. Like, the little mini closet, you can like feel the air coming through. So, oh, it's really cold in here. It's super cold. So we're bundled up today, and warm salmon looks so good. Salmon. Yippee! Senbei's going to put out a forum at some point. I made it and I sent it to him. I think it just depends on when he puts it out. It'll be a form for you guys to fill out for all of the Donathon rewards. So, like, your ideas for the skeps and stuff, and for the cover stuff, and for, can't remember. Covers, scabs, stream stuff like the condimentation test and tier list, the Yui and Senbei stream. We're gonna have a tea party. The voice pack and the Discord watch along. Senbei wants your info. Senbei is rapidly approaching your location. Have you guys, okay, if you purchased my my birthday merch, did you happen to listen to the voice pack? And if yes, did you listen to the good morning one? And if yes, did you like it? Needs my SS number. He does. He wants your social security number, your credit card number, the 3 silly numbers on the back, and the expiration date. It's very important. Salmon. I always get a little scared when I'm eating salmon. Because a few times there's still been bones in the fish and then it stabs me. Senbei probably has it by now. I know Senbei has my credit card information. That's a joke, he doesn't. I would never give Senbei my credit card information. Bam, bam, bam. So we'll play Dark Souls next week. Can't remember anything. Sorry, I'm really brain dead today. We'll play Dark Souls next week. Yui Mommy ASMR and Cat Girl stream are gonna probably be a few weeks from now because I need to write a script for Mommy ASMR. And I need to figure out what I'm doing for the Cat Girl stream because I haven't thought insanely far ahead on how I want it to be. Dark Souls 3, I think. That's the one that Perry wants me to play, and I'm obliged to listen to her. Bulldog will probably be next week. No, there's also 3D Bunny Girl, which will be next week or the week after. I don't know when meet and greets are happening. Senbei will probably tell me at some point. So I guess I'll find out. Guys, I have such cool news for you. Not that you have to care, but I care. It's not very relevant to you, but I'm telling you. So I got my first ever VGen com, and I'm just really excited and happy about it. But I'm really, really happy about it. I'm so happy about it. Yippee! Salmon. Yum yum. I'm very, very excited about you. Someone commissioned you. Someone commissioned me! Me. I'm so excited. Num num. I'm super hyped. I've been, wanting to do commissions for other people. I mean, I do, but I usually do commissions for people I know, so it's exciting to do one for someone I don't know. So I started working on that today. I started working on it while I watched, the Cub Scouts playthrough of Resident Evil Requiem. Bam, bam. Bam, bam. Resident Evil Requiem. It looks really scary. I think I'd die, actually. It looks terrifying. I don't know how people are playing it. It looks so scary. But Leon, they like really buffed him. They really buffed him. And I mean that literally. He seems a lot buffer in this game. Draw a bullet bill, raw dog. What? What? Oh my gosh, guys, stop construing my words. I didn't say that. Can't say anything. Guys are always putting words in my mouth, saying them wrong. I don't think about that. That's not what I want. You know what I want? What I truly want more than anything is a nap. I was really debating taking a nap today, but I felt like I hadn't been productive enough to take a nap. I'm so tired. I feel like going away for the weekend will be nice. Hopefully. I'm hoping it'll make me feel a little less sleepy. A little more rested, you know. Wait, I'll retweet the skit, show the world what the Straw Bunny really wants. Yeah, I'll retweet it. I'll retweet it. I'll do that right now. I'm opening twitter.com. You guys know what I spent my day doing yesterday? I spent the entire day cleaning. I hate cleaning! Cleaning sucks. Repost. I deep cleaned the family's fridge. And then I cleaned the kitchen. As I cleaned so much. Cleaned for hours and hours, and it was so tiring. But it's finally done. The fridge has been deep cleaned, which is epic sauce. Epic sauce. And I made a cake yesterday. Made a cake. And then I felt really brain dead for the rest of the day. That's part of the reason why I didn't stream. I didn't feel like I could deliver you guys like an energetic, fun stream. And because we're celebrating my cousin's birthday, and dinner was taking, I guess, kind of long or whatever, right? So celebrating was gonna be longer, so I wouldn't be able to be there for his birthday if I streamed. Yeah. It was a cake from my cousin, so I made vanilla cake, and then I ground up freeze-dried strawberries, and I mixed it into the cake batter, and then I stacked two cake rounds, yes. And I put jam and chopped strawberries in the middle, and then I put strawberry jam in the icing. It was a whipped icing. And then I decorated the cake with that, and then I put strawberries on top of the cake. Because when I asked him what he wanted for his cake, his answer was strawberry, 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 strawberry. And I said, okay, I can make you a very strawberry cake. I didn't eat any of it though, so I don't know if it was good or not. I hope it was, but I was so brain dead. I was like, I don't feel like cake. I just want to go to bed. I went to eat. I watched the last episode, or the most recent episode of Free Rin! And then I started watching Gachi Yakute. Is that what it's called? Gachi Yakuta. And it seems pretty interesting. I've heard a lot of people say it's really good, so I tried it, and it's pretty good so far. I love Free Rin too! Chunya. Oh my gosh, there's so much in common. Sorry, don't mind me. It's pretty good. I've been enjoying it so far. I think it's quite funny at points. I like it quite a lot. Free Rin, I think, has very quickly become one of my favorite animes of all time. Just like the world building is so interesting. And just like the plot and everything, and the anime itself is just so gorgeous. Like I'm really obsessed with it. I really love it. Like I find so I saw someone say that they were told that I can be a bit of a yapper during movies and stuff. Free run is no exception to that because I'm a huge yapper when I watch free run because I'll go like, oh, this part and the symbolism here, oh, and this here, or whatever. I feel like I'm kind of insufferable sometimes. But depending on the movie, sometimes I'm pretty silent, so you don't have to worry about me yapping too much. Still trug. You should give it a watch. It's really good. It's really, 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 really good. I like it a lot. I think it's fun. You like free run too? Bite slip. Bite slip. I've not watched it. You have to watch it. You should watch it. Salmon. I've been drinking coffee a lot more recently. And I'm wondering if maybe I've been drinking too much coffee because I had a really bad headache this morning. Like at like 1 p.m. Okay, 1 p.m. That's not morning. And I made a coffee and I drank it and I didn't have a headache anymore. It worked flawlessly, actually. So I'm like, maybe coffee is the solution to everything, or maybe I should drink a little less coffee. I don't drink nearly as much as I... What? I know my stream is behind, but I just saw the message about me riding a bullet bill. She looks so happy about it. Thank you, Taryn. I love it so much. It's really cute. She's so happy about it. Oh my gosh. She's like so stoked about it. I love how big the ears are. Comically large ears. Hi, Erica! My day is good. How has your day been? Has it been epic sauce amazingness? Epic amazing sauce. Caffeine helps calm down your brain from migraines. Migraines. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that, and I need to drink more water, I think. So difficult remembering, just in the grind zone constantly. It's kind of weird not having as much stuff to do. I mean, I'm still gonna have a lot of stuff to do, but like, it's kind of weird not having as much as before. My to-do list at the moment is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. Isn't that crazy? It's gonna jump a lot, but that's okay. It's okay. Free from work, so it's much better now to hear you yap. Well, you like yapping. Yapping fun. Who's in the grind zone? Yeah. I'm in the grind zone. I'm also not, though. All I really wanted to do today was sleep and read. I just wanted to read fanfic and then take a nap. Which, I read a little bit of fanfic, and then I recorded, and then I did some graphic design for the commission, which was nice. But I was like, I want a nap. I want to eat these. Wisdom stat. You just sit there and be like, I need to do something. Yeah. Today was not one of those days, though. It was not an I need to do something day. It was I want to do nothing day. I just want to like sit and stare at the wall, you know? And just like not think. That's like, it's like one of those days. Just like I just wanna do nothing. Nothing at all. Hi, Daniel. I feel like I'm like crashing a little bit after how busy this last month has been. It's like non-stop busy. So I'm like, I think my body's like, oh, break time. But it's not actually break time because it's never break time. which is okay. Paint the wall and then you'll be watching the paint dry. Paint dry. Paint dry. Paint dry. There's no time for burnout. We must keep it moving. It's okay. I feel good right now, actually. I feel much better than yesterday. I feel pretty good. And I think it's because I'm streaming. I don't know. I feel like I tend to feel a lot better when I'm streaming, you know? I like streaming a lot. Which is definitely a good thing, you know? But I find I feel a lot better when I get to talk to you guys. It's like my court mandated social interaction for the day. I'm waiting here for to say some word ending in ER so I can make it a fairly knower joke. No, I like that actually. I don't think it's bad at all. I think it's the best thing. No, I'm joking. Like court mandated is a joke. I'm not actually court mandated to do anything. I've never been to court. I kind of want to go to jury duty. You know, that's a thing. I want to be summoned to jury duty. For something interesting, though. Not for, like, a traffic violation. Could you imagine how fun it would be? Okay, not fun. Not fun. Not fun. Not fun. I'm sorry for the jury duty having doers of the world. I just think it might be interesting. It might be interesting, you know? I wanna listen in. I heard you can get in trouble for missing jury duty. How do they select people for jury duty? How do they select people? How does it work? My old teacher was called to jury duty so many times he got pissed at the judge. What kind of cases could you get called to jury duty for? Ask Senbei about his experience as a juror. Has he been a juror? Senbei-san. SVP Senbei-san. Have you been a juror? Thought it was random natives in the local area. Ah. So you can't be called to... That's a stupid question. I'm not gonna ask it, actually. I'm just gonna eat my salmon. Delicioso. My salmon's kind of dry, actually. I like stabbing it. Do you guys like making your food into casseroles? Because I do. Every time I eat one of those dinners, it'll be like... Not every time. There's some foods I don't like mixing together. But I like mixing my rice and salmon. What's the other one that I like making into a casserole? What is it? Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. I feel like there's one other thing I like making into a casserole. But there are some foods that can't be made into casseroles, you know? But I like mixing my salmon and rice. And sometimes I'll put corn in there, too. I used to really not like to eat corn mixed into anything. I don't know. I don't really know why. But I didn't. But now I eat my corn mixed into things. Yummy. But I don't have any corn, so it's just rice and salmon today. That's okay, though. So, poke bowl. Does it poke have fish, specifically? I've never had a poke bowl. Wait, this is fish. Salmon is fish. Hi, Nana. Hello. Hi. I forgot. I forgot salmon's fish. I'm not in there. Save my rice with creamed corn and fried chicken for dinner. Fried chicken. Fried chicken. Wait. Oh my gosh, wait. makes me think of Are you frying chicken in there? Just kidding. You make a lot of noise when you pee. I like that. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I find it so funny. Okay, anyways, change of topic. So yesterday, so we for my hi Big Papa John. How's it going? How's it going? Hi, I hope you're doing well. I have something else to tell you guys. So yesterday, for my cousin's birthday dinner, he requested palacintas. Super yummy. Anyways, I went down into the into the kitchen to eat palacintas, and I was like kind of zoned out, I felt like, most of the day, right? So I wasn't really paying attention. I was just like rolling up my palacintas and putting them on my plate. And you know what I hear my mom say? You know what I heard my mom say? You know what I zoned back into the conversation to hear her saying? She said something like... She said, guys, you need to nut in private. And I went, what? I was like, what? What? What are we talking about right now? Oh my gosh. And so everybody in the kitchen is like, Mom? What? So I guess the conversation I missed, I don't really know much, but my brothers and my cousin were saying something about nutting. Oh, I think it's because, so I had some leftover whipped cream from when I made the cake, and I put it in a bowl for people to use on their palacintas. And so people were putting whipped cream on their palacintas, and I think one of my brothers made a joke about nutting on the palacintas. And then it just kind of went downhill from there. And my mom didn't know what nut meant. So she like turned to my aunt and was like, what does it mean? And then my aunt made like a hand motion or something. And that's when my mom went, you guys need to nut in private. I was genuinely like jaw dropped. Just staring at my mom like, what? I was like, what the hell? What is this conversation? My mom is so funny. Oh my gosh, I thought it was so funny. I could not stop laughing. But I was like so shocked hearing her say it. Oh, it was so hilarious. Sorry, I had to share. I just think it's so funny. So if if you ever meet my mom, don't bring this up, okay? If you ever meet my mom, when you meet my mom, don't bring this up, okay? She'll be embarrassed. Sometimes I'll tell her, like, I'll tell my parents that I told you guys things, and they'll be like, you told them? I'm like, yes. Made a great story. You're not meeting my dad, just my mom. I'm gonna block Bullet Bill as a term from the chat when you guys meet my mom, because I don't want you to tell her about Bullet Bill. You can't tell her. She doesn't need to know. I don't want her to ask me questions about it. I really don't want her to ask me questions. She's gonna be like, so what is this about Bullet Bill? I'll be like, nothing. It's nothing. Guys, you have to be on your best behavior. Your best behavior, okay? You have to be really well behaved. Pink women. What about pink women? I'm a pink woman. Pinku. Pinku, pinku. I'm not gonna tell you exactly what it is, but this insane artwork came up on my For You on Twitter the other day, and it jump scared me really hard. I opened Twitter and it was there. I was like, what? I wasn't in public, thankfully, this time, but I feel like it always happens. I feel like it always happens in public. I can't open Twitter because as soon as I do, there's something there, and I'm always like, what? And then I close the app really rapidly. It's because of that safe for work trend. When people will post like, they'll be like, SFW, safe for work, and then it's absolutely not safe for work. And I'm like, don't lie. Don't lie. Please. Please, I can't open Twitter in public. It's just always porn. Just like constantly. And listen, it's not like I click on it, okay? I don't click on it. But you know, the safe for work trend is just insane. It's so insane. Oh, the cat mouth? Oh, I've been seeing the cat mouth one so much recently. But yeah, the thing I saw, I sent it to Toka. I said, don't open this in front of anybody. And then she messaged me back and she went, what? Holy shit! Oh my gosh, she's so funny. I love her reactions to things. Oh, she's so funny. She goes, holy what? That's insane! All caps. I'm like, girl. She really makes me laugh. I still have salmon. Salmon. Why is there an L in the name? If it's salmon? Sam. Cause it's the A-L sound. No, but that would be salmon. Salmon. It's a fish. What do you mean, what's a salmon? It's a fish. Salmon. Salmon. Glad you know that. Oh. I see what's happening here. You're face to face with greatness and it's strange. You don't even know how to feel. It's adorable. It's nice to see the humans never change. Open your eyes and let's begin. Without the L, it would be too close to see. Oh, I see. Your message got blocked for me. I had to change to live chat to be able to see it. It was like, no, hide it. Hi! Hi, Jolly. Hello. Why would it be close to that without... No, it wouldn't. See? No, because there's an A and an O. Oh, I guess it's a 5-letter word. Semen. Oh! Numbered the days for Papa John. Papa John, do you happen to own your own pizza place? I'm just curious. No? Really? Wait, hold on. Have you ever heard of Papa John's Pizza? I was looking up for a sec if Papa John's is only in Canada. I was like, I didn't think it was. Are you the owner of Papa John's Pizza? Cause you are now. Congratulations, you've just inherited a chain restaurant. I'm really happy for you. Open your eyes, let's begin. Yes, it's really me, it's Maui. Breathe it in. I know it's a lot. The hair, the bud. Well, you're staring at a demigod. What can I say except you're welcome? For the something, the eyes, the sun, the sky. If he did, I would be the first to file a complaint because of what he's done to all those women. What?! What did he do?! Guys, I'm really concerned now. What do you mean by that? Papa John wasn't a good... But wait, really? Wait, hold on. What?! Huh? Huh? The lore that I'm learning right now. I guess I shouldn't call criminal activity lore, huh? I know it's a lot. The hair, the bod. That's why he has nothing to do with the company anymore. Oh! I did not represent that man in any way, LaMayo. Okay. Well, that's good. I thought when Bridge said, because of what he's done to all those women, I thought he was talking about you and not the owner or the dude who made Papa John's. I was like, what? That's nice to know. I was like, what? Huh? Oh my gosh. That was crazy. The lore drop. The lore drop is insane. Ba-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Oh, I was? Oh! This one right here. This one right here. Get him. Just knew all of the crimes. All of the crimes. Real quick, it's time for our court-mandated, mandatory merch sale. Do you want birthday merch? Did you know that I have birthday merch of me in my sleep outfit? Very cute. And there's a mug and the coaster and a sticker set. Wow. Look, my tongue's out. That's crazy. Of course not, she has socks. And one sock on. Just one sock. It's stuck in my head now. Tongue and thighs out, how lewd. I know. And she has her tummy out too. It's extremely lewd. It's crazy. It's crazy. I can't believe we're allowed to sell merch like this. I really do love the desk mat. I like it a lot. You guys should have seen. I can't show you. I can't. But there were the other pose options were. they were pretty crazy.
Hey Yui, did you know Papa John really likes feet? You should take a close look at his PFP.
Do you like feet? Thank you, Shad, for the tip! Mwah, 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 mwah. You really like feet? I'm gonna go to your channel and look at your profile pic. Oh! that Hyori Mokami's feet? Well, they're really tiny. I can't see the profile picture super well. I can't see them very well. I can kind of recognize what some of them are. I'm impressed you know that, lol. Well, your whole channel is Hyori Mokami branded, so I kind of just assumed that they're Miss Hio's feet. It was an assumption based on facts, you know. I've actually never seen Hio's feet until I saw your profile picture, because I'm not actually a stalker. She says I'm a stalker, but I'm not. But she's actually my stalker. She stalks me all the time. It's crazy. Vibes-based question. Vibes. The vibes. Mokami madness. I love Hyori Mokami. I love her a lot. She's really sweet. Miss Hio. Miss Hyori Mokami. Can't stalk your own wife. Oh yeah, we're wives. Ooh. Oh my gosh. That's just love. So does that mean because I love my straw bunnies, if I stalk? This is hypothetical. Hold on, wait, hold on. Theoretically, question mark, it doesn't count as stalking. Is it theoretical or hypothetical? I don't understand the difference in that context. I know theoretically is like based on fact and hypothetical is based on nothing that's proven or something like that, but which one would it count as? Both are correct? Okay. So, because I love my straw bunnies, hypothetically, if I'm outside your door, it doesn't count as stalking. I'm just wondering. No, it doesn't? Ugh, that's so wonderful. I'm really glad. Do you want in? Yes, open up, please. Leave your windows unlocked. I'm on my way. If you're outside my door, I'll put my feet in your face. No, I don't want to see your feet. I don't want to see your feet. Because I'm not into that, you know. I'm not into feet. I joke about Toka toes, but I'm not into feet. What would you do to me exactly? Whoa, it's a loaded question. When you phrase it like that, suddenly I can't think of anything. I think this is how something is, and I'm going to test it where theory is based on all evidence. This is how it is. Oh, I see. My window's got bars. Why does your window have bars? I'm concerned about you. Are you okay? What's going on? Why does your window have bars? Are you all right? Are you all right? Do you need help? Because I live in Brazil. Wait, why does that? Forgive my ignorance. Why does that matter? Like, what about living in Brazil means your window has bars? You're in jail? Why? What'd you do? Babe. Ba. Boo. Ba. I'm really excited to meow on Thursday. It's just normal because how crime works in here. Oh, I see. Thank you. Interesting. Oh my goodness. I'm really excited to meow. another life, I was a cat girl. I believe it. I like cat girls. I think they're very cute. Brazil's an insane crime rate. Oh, I see. I see. I hope that you stay safe, happy, and healthy. Bum, 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 bum. Salmon. I still have that. It's really cold now. I've been yapping instead of eating. Satan, work is preventing my visual baptism watching stream by my mentor, Oshi. I hope you love the movie Plaything. Can't wait to watch the VOD. I'm so sorry that Satan is keeping you from your visual baptism. That's really awful. I hope that, he stops that. I wish you the best time, at, Satan. I want to say... Never mind, nothing. What? Because I'm already ready for bed. Have fun in hell. In hell. Hope Satan isn't too rough with you. That sounds so wrong. That sounds so wrong. Like super wrong. Sorry, I love the yap. I love the yap. Big fan of the yap. We do be yapping today. Oopie. One second. I don't know why it'll look like this. There we go. She became shocked for 2 seconds. Shocked. I'll be careful with my shortcuts. I just had a thought. What if, do you imagine I just, like, load up my search history with, like... What to do with extra money when you're filthy rich? Where is this button in a Porsche? Just like all this. And then just like pretend to, oh, oops, I accidentally showed my search history. Oops. What to do when you're getting asked out by 15 women at the same time? Sorry guys, I didn't mean to show you how rich and popular I am. Why is there an L in salmon? Yeah, I'm gonna look that up right now. Why is there an L in salmon? No, like the... Oh, that's a 1. I mean L. It's silent. Etymological edition from the 15th to 17th centuries, added to align the spelling with its Latin root salmon. I give up. What to do when Leon Kennedy is at my door. Open it, obviously. Open the door. It's very important. If poison expires, is it more poisonous or no longer poisonous? Wait, do tell! What did you glean? What information did you glean? I'm very interested. Do you... Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Is it? Sorry, my brain isn't working. If Leon Kennedy is at your door, he's coming in 4 weeks. Oh my gosh, got a Leon Kennedy lover in chat here. It depends if some stuff degrades while some stuff becomes more poisonous. Oh! Whoa, Foxy, that was very straightforward. Oh my goodness. That was extremely straightforward. Someone's got some thoughts about Leon Kennedy. I spelled my... Oh! Oh my gosh! I could take all of Leon Kennedy. Uh-huh. That's nice. That's nice. Sometimes you guys make me feel like, you know, like when you're like trying to show your parents something, or like you're like teach or something, and you're like, look at this thing I made, but they're really busy, so they go, that's nice, sweetheart. That's really great. Or that's how I want to respond when you guys are like, I could take all of Leon Kennedy. That's great, sweetie. I'm happy for you. I'm really happy for you, sweetheart. That's great. Anyways, when's your next therapy appointment? You know? Anyways, have you been getting any social interaction recently? I like that Leon looks like female employees were told to make the ideal old man. No, for real, female gaze, female gaze. It's a female gaze. I'm not gay, but you know, it's Leon. You know, the true gay test for a man is to ask him to rate Ryan Reynolds on a scale from 1 to 10. Or so I've heard. I've heard that if they rate Ryan Reynolds a 9 or a 10, they're straight. And if it's like anything below that, they're probably gay. And I think it's really funny. I don't know. He's a 10. Yeah, see? There it is. I don't know what I'd say Ryan Reynolds is. I've never really cared, but oh my gosh! I've never really cared much for celebrities, honestly. Sorry, aside from Robert Downey Jr., but I want Robert Downey Jr. to be my dad. So you know, it's not fair. 10 is the only answer. You're right, I'm thankful. Yeah, alright, I'm thankful for Deadpool. I like the Deadpool movies. I think they're pretty good. Yeah, no, Dad! Just Dad. Not the, I don't like saying the other word. It's very weird. On Ryan Reynolds until I saw him with glasses. That's stuff a 9 or 10 with those. Glasses can really make or break a person, you know? They can really make or break a person. I didn't see the first part of where we're finished, but I should drop in and wish you the best. Hi, Weasel Prime! I hope you're doing well. Hi. I hope you're doing wondrously, wonderfully. I feel like glasses can be like so good for the face or so not good for the face. Everyone in my family that has glasses wears like round glasses. I've told you before that I have a pair of glasses because I don't have the best eyesight. Yeah. And it's kind of held true for me. I don't know, I used to wear, when I was a kid and I couldn't see the whiteboard, I would wear, or the chalkboard, whatever, blackboard, whatever it's called. I had very, like, square glasses. Round glasses on girls with bangs is cheating. I like round glasses, I think they're very cute. I pay zero attention to most actors and don't even remember what Ryan Reynolds looks like. Yeah, I can't picture his face off the top of my head. I look better in glasses. Most of you have seen what I look like now. I can't picture your face off the top of my head. I like kind of can. I'm not the best with faces all the time. Sometimes I'm pretty okay. I think glasses are so cute. Yeah, I like glasses. I like them a lot. I like my glasses. So they let me see, which is nice. Which is great. It's always a good thing. Seeing is nice. I used to wear contacts a lot, but I really hate putting them in, and I find it's just like way less of a hassle to wear glasses than to wear contacts. I just, I don't know. A UE model with glasses. I don't know, I could have glasses on my model someday. That'd be crazy. Blah. Blah. Me when I try to push up my glasses, but I don't have them on. Oh, I do that. I find that, like, what is always kind of funny to me is sometimes, like, I'll get ready for bed and I'll take my glasses off, right? And then, I'll turn off the lights and I'll lay down, and then I think, oh, I need to find this thing, or like I don't have my phone charger, so then I'll go to look for it. And despite it being really dark and not being able to see anything anyways, I always have to put my glasses back on to look for my phone charger. Cause otherwise I feel like I just won't be able to find it, you know? I'm like, I need my glasses, even though it's like dark as fuck and I can't see anything anyways. Constantly fall off my face because my fuck ass frame won't stop being fuck ass. Yeah, it do be like that sometimes. It do. The teacher outfit, oh my gosh, whoa. Teacher outfit, insane. Gotta arrange all the assumptions on the table beside the bed. I don't have a bedside table. My bed's on the floor. I sleep on the floor still. I never stopped, actually. Remember, like, months and months and months ago when I told you I started sleeping on the floor? Yeah, I still sleep on the floor. So I just put my stuff on the ground. beside my bed. You know, yeah. But I only have one phone charger, so I will just bring it back and forth between my desk and my bed. Yoga tile beside the bed. OMG, for real. Like a poor Victorian child. I just like sleeping on the floor, you know? Then nothing can hide under my bed. I have carpet. This carpet has seen some shit, let me tell you. It's seen some stuff. Although I gave it a deep clean a while back. Bum 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 bum. What? No! I didn't poop on my carpet. No, not real shit. Well, no, my carpet has seen real shit because my dog exists. And she has a very sensitive stomach. So if she gets into eating things that she shouldn't eat, then she'll poop on them. She'll have diarrhea, and then, oh, man, it sucks. I hate... Whoa, I believe all of SVP should wear a pencil skirt and teach me a lesson on being a good little lad for science purposes. Oh my. That's crazy. Ginger destroyed your carpet. Well, she's puked and pooped on it. But she's also, I've spilt hot chocolate on my carpet. I've spilt paint on my carpet. I've spilt many things on my carpet. It's okay though. You haven't streamed yesterday, but I want to say I went back to the same flea market and blew $50 on 20 more die casts. Oh, that's fun! That's super fun. I know, my poor carpet. It's okay. It'll be fine. My poor carpet. Blah 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 blah. I still have salmon. I should really eat it. I keep forgetting it's here. One day I will make it through this bowl and I'll finish it. Maybe I'll finish it by the end of stream. Remembering to finish your food is very difficult. There we go. Can finish the goldfish but not the salmon. I'm not done the goldfish. I still have my goldfish bag. Biggest opt in a VTuber food. Well, when you don't always move around a ton, you know? You don't really get that hungry. I heard someone else say that a while ago and it makes sense. Because if you're not expending like a crap ton of energy, you don't get like super hungry all the time. Tummy's too small to finish things. I can't fit a lot of food in there. You know? I think I'm just kind of out of it still. You know? Thinking is hard. Thinking is hard. Well, it also depends on the person. If you have a very high metabolism, you'll probably be hungry a lot more than someone that doesn't have as high of a metabolism. And metabolism is also based on, like, it can be kind of hereditary, I think. So, there's, like, you can have a higher metabolism. Like, you can have a higher metabolism if you exercise a lot, but it can also just be that you have a really high metabolism. I eat breakfast sometimes. I usually eat maybe 2 meals most of the time, I think. Like, something around like 12, maybe, and then something for dinner. Like 8. I don't know, it kind of does, it's very highly dependent on if I'm streaming or not. I happen to feel kind of hungry before stream, so that's why I went and got food, but I find that, sometimes I won't eat dinner, or I'll eat it, like, later because I'm streaming and I don't stop to get food because I'm too busy, you know? Like, or I just don't notice until after I'm done streaming, and then I go, I'm hungry. So then I eat something. Metabolisms are very interesting. I don't really understand them that much. But they're fairly interesting. Fairly interesting. I don't know. Sorry, I've been yapping for so long. It's been like a whole hour. Hello, Hazel. Did you guys know that Hazel did all of the art and animation for ba 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 roa ba 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 roa amai dake ja tomorrow night. man, this free print that you get with the thing, the thing at the place with the birthday bundle. That was done by Hazel. Oh, I mean to make it small. Yeah. Thank you, Hazel. You're very sweet. You're very sweet. You did a really wonderful job on all the art and animation. Hazel is the goat. Animation goat. Guess I'm buying Yui merch. You are? Stare at it more. Look it. You could have Yui in cute sleep outfit with tummy. And a straw bunny. And a mug. Oh, what did I just move? Oh, I just... Beep. Right there. There we go. Don't cry. Don't cry. Mug maxing. I give this birthday merch 6 out of 10 because your feet are not hooves. Can I make my mugs kiss? Yes! Can I kiss Hio? Can I kiss Hio mug? Hio. Hiori Mokami. Can I eat the mug? You can eat out of the mug if you put something in there, I suppose. You could do that. You could eat out of it. Silent R and Yui. What do you mean? Yui's 3 letters. It's Y. Yui. Y-U-I. Sorry. Zoning. Yuri. Oh, Yuri! Yuri! I love Yuri. I like it a lot. It's very cute. Women. Got myself an extra mug besides the bundle since my mom likes drinking out of mugs. Your mom's gonna drink out of the mug with me on it! Hi, Ken. I hope you're doing good and the goodness of good. I can't go to sleep. We're gonna watch the show. We're gonna watch the show. We're gonna watch. You know, Umiusagi, the Seabunnies we left behind. Umiusagi. Yeah, type maxing. I have a question. What's up? What's your question? Is it Straw Bunny or Straw Bunny? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I saw you guys asking about that earlier. I don't know is the answer. I kind of switch back and forth between how I spell it. Which one do you guys want it to be? So what do you guys want it to be? Both are good. What do you want it to be? I want both. You can have both. You can keep both. Yeah, you can use both. Katameru kara, jikuri dakara, kimi no namida mo izuka vanilla ni kawaru yo papa iro iro. Dori dori. Good boss, yeah, boss. New faction, Straw Bunny. Straw Bunny. Straw Tanks. Tanks! Don't say that word in front of Sembe. You know, once we were work call. No. Meeting. I was having a meeting with Sembe. And he started showing me, he opened World of Tanks. And he showed me the Canadian tank. I don't even remember how he got on that topic. But he was like, did you know there's a Canadian tank in World of Tanks? And I was like, no. He was like, I'll show you. And then he opened World of Tanks. Like, oh, well now I know that there is a Canadian tank in World of Tanks. So like, I have salmon. Hold on. I'm gonna eat a bite of my salmon. It's so cold now. What you get? It's really cold in here in general. Bum ba dum bum bum. It's okay, Snail Jailer. Don't worry about it. I got you. I hope you're doing well. Why are you in the rain? Don't get a cold! Don't get a cold, please. Don't get a cold. Don't get a cold. Be out of the rain. I want to be in the rain. What's another? I barely know it. Oh! Oh, got him! Got him! That's crazy. Got him. Guys, I can't think. Don't understand. Goodbye. Goodbye? Why? Why goodbye? What? Goodbye? No, hi. 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 Say hi. He hates you clearly. Well, that's not very nice. And I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. Because you're not Darner. I don't believe you. I'm gonna doze off while watching the video. Yeah, my desk is not very sleepable. It's not a good place for sleep maxing. I don't think I should be this tired though. I didn't stay up very late and I slept quite a long while. It's like my brain is mush. Like it's full of maple syrup. Syrup. Why is syrup said like that? I need to know. Syrup. Syrup. Viscous. Viscous. Etymology. Is it etymology? Etymology. Then why is there a Y? Shouldn't it be ETE or ETI? Etymology. What sound does a Y make? What sound does a Y make? The letter Y makes a distinct sound in English, asking is both a consonant and a vowel. That's not what I fucking asked. Yuh? Oh, it's yuh! Doesn't you make a yuh sound? Oh. Doesn't you make a yuh sound? Or is it Or is it sound? Yuh. When it's a vowel, it's E. What? E? Give me one example, because I can't think of a single one. E? Oh, Isaac! Isaac? Wait, have I been saying your name wrong this whole time? Is it Isaac and not Isaac? Have I been saying it wrong for like a year? Have I been saying it wrong? It can be read that way. Am I? The end of etymology, literally. The end of etymology does do the E. Etymology! You're okay. Oh, okay. Pretty. Oh, I guess there are many words that do that, huh? The English language is a crazy thing. Bunny and some E sound. Bunny syrup, but you say it like Europe. Syrup. We should start watching actually before I do fall asleep. I'm so eepy. If I go to bed early, do you think I'll feel still so dead tomorrow? I'm really hoping I don't. Where is the video is the question. There it is. Chiku ni dakara Kimi no namida mo itsuka pa nila ni kawaru yo. Dori! The big eeper. I'm a big eeper. We should pull a fun drink out of the fridge for our watch. Let's see what we have. I have plum wine. Guys, I have plum wine. We're getting drunk. I'm joking, but like, I have some. I also have coffee milk that expired a year ago. Still, I've been keeping this. It's aging like fine wine. I have what's this? A mocha latte thing that expired almost a year ago, but it's in a can, so I think it's fine. Wine milk? That would be crazy. I also have Happy Breakup Soda. Aw, it's so cute. It's pink. 「 Ba-da-ba-ba. I'm going to lull myself into an epic sleep with some plum wine. I'll go to bed. Oh my gosh, the video's playing. Stop. Don't play. Okay, there we go. Bam 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 bam. Bam 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 bam. Bitter step sugar. I've never heard of this. Kimi no namida mo itsuka pa ni nani kawaru yo. I need to set up my thing real quick. 1 second. Blah. Ba-ba-do-do. I won't touch. I'll be good, I promise. I'm always good. Best listener. Always good. Just this one. There we go. Okay. Watch out. Here we go. Katameru kara. Jiku ni dakara. Hello? Where's my... Where am I? Where am I? What? Where's my sprout capture? It's gone. Did I accidentally click safe mode? Oh, guys, I need to close OBS 1 second. Hi. I don't know how I managed to close my OBS. I really don't know how that happened. Wait, go back here. I'm scared that I didn't do it right. Kimi no namida mo. Did my OBS crash? Is that what happened? Because I didn't think I closed it. Maybe it crashed. Kimi no namida mo itsuka pa ni rani kawaru yo. Okay, I just need to add back my chat. Pachu. There we go. Okay, hi. Hi. I didn't close my OBS. I didn't. I swear. Okay. Let's go over here. Pawn. Blah.
A painful silence
You
enveloped
hear
the
this?
hall as everyone processed the news.
So another mongrel has been put down.
Freddles glared slightly at him.
What I mean to say is that it truly is a shame that he met his end here and not with his family. But I don't think this should stop us from enjoying this meal that those useless dogs of the house prepared for us.
Guys,
A pity they don't seem to be around.
the smell
A
of
great
plum
deal of
wine
my
makes me want to
curiosity
play
would
Truck
be fulfilled if
Sim.
they were.
Everyone stared at Golden Bun with a
Guys,
mix of
Truck
annoyance
Sim
but also
stream after
apprehension.
this?
At Golden Bun's words, they began
you
picking up
imagine?
their food and eating a little. After they
Could you
ate,
imagine we
everyone
play
split off into small groups and went about the manor searching for the butlers. Kaz stayed behind, saying that he wanted to at least clear the table, and so everyone left. Kaz picked up the dishes quickly and brought them to the sink, where he started washing them.
Here we go.
Section 2.
So Watcher was up too, huh? That's odd.
That's
When I woke
odd.
up, I listened to everyone's rooms through their doors, and they were all sound asleep. I heard the butlers preparing breakfast, which is when I talked to them. Then I ran around the mansion looking for any clues or passageways, but I didn't find any.
Casually yearn to
All in
drive
all,
under
that
the
whole
influence.
process only took
What
about
can
an
I
hour and
say?
a half. I didn't hear or see anyone else leave their room,
It's just
and I
the way
confirmed
I
once
am.
again that everyone was sleeping when I returned to my room.
Everyone was eating.
It's possible for him to wake up after me, but I was unable to go back to sleep, and at no point did I hear Watcher Bunlock leave his room.
Driving in my car.
After running through this order of events in his head, Kaz Strelkowski became suspicious of Watcher's claim of being up early, and so he set off to find and observe his
Strelkowski.
actions. After searching for a few minutes, he found
Oh my
Watcher
God, he's dead.
rummaging around Bunner's room, and so he quickly entered the room
This is
and
dead.
went into the
It's dead
closet
and gone.
directly across from the bed that Watcher was currently looking under. Once in the closet, he silenced his breathing and quietly watched Bunlock search under Bunner's bed. Bunlock emerged with a needle in his hand and seemed to be quite overjoyed at finding it. He then stood up and began to walk
He's
out of the room.
freaking dead.
As Bunlock passed by this closet, he suddenly stopped and looked directly at where Kaz was standing.
No, that just
No.
won't do. I already checked there earlier. There's no one in there. It would be way too cliche to have someone hiding in there now. Right?
Right?
Watcher slowly reached for the door.
Wait, no. If there's a killer
I
in
like
there,
how
that would
Kaz
be,
is
like,
just
really freaking scary,
like
right?
low opacity.
On second thought, maybe I should just leave it alone. I mean, after all, I was just trying to find something, and that something is not a knife in my throat.
Watcher slowly backed away from
Not
the
a
closet
knife
and
in
ran
my
down the hall
throat.
before tripping.
Ah, this is it. My life is over.
Silence filled the room before the sound of Watcher getting back up with a sigh of relief and running off again. Kaz let out a long breath and stepped out of the closet before he set off to tail Bunlock. A slight feeling of unease crept into his heart as the sound of footsteps
Unease
emanated
always
from
creeps into
behind
my
him.
heart
He
too.
quickly turned his head to check where the sound was coming from, but nothing but empty space
Dora
greeted
Dalton.
him. Shaking off
Dora
the feeling
Dalton,
of
I don't think you're
unease,
very good at taking
Kaz
pictures.
quickly ran down the stairs and looked for Watcher
The lighting
once
is
more.
all weird.
The sound of Watcher's voice could be heard from one of the
Dora
rooms down
Dalton
the
needs a
hall,
new career.
and so Kaz began walking towards the
Dora!
source at a brisk pace.
Dora.
Watcher could be heard
Dora.
talking to
Just
someone,
registered
but the
your name's
exact
Dora.
details of the conversation seemed to be muffled
Dora.
behind the door.
Dora.
Kaz looked through the keyhole
Dora,
in the
Dora,
door, but
Dora
nothing
the
but darkness
Explorer.
was on the other side. However, he could still hear Watcher's voice coming from the far corner of the room. Kaz looked around to see if anyone was nearby and quietly entered the room. The sound of Watcher's voice became clearer as soon as he opened the door, and he held his breath as he silently closed the door behind him and let his eyes adjust to the dark. He searched along the wall for a light switch and found it off to the right of the door. He counted himself down from 3 and flicked the switch, but nothing happened. Instead, the sound of Watcher's voice abruptly stopped before starting back up again in an almost mechanical fashion. Kaz crept towards where the voice was coming from as it became clearer and clearer.
Another one gone.
Huh?
Isn't that oddly convenient? Wait. Another one gone. It would be way too cliche. Isn't that oddly convenient? This is it. Another one gone.
What the hell is this guy going on about?
He finally reached the far corner where a large wardrobe stood in the dark. Kaz counted down once again from 3 and flung open the doors. However, what greeted him inside was not Watcher, but a cassette player breaking and looping Watcher's voice. Kaz immediately understood that he was led here on purpose and quickly turned around and sprinted towards the door. However, suddenly the lights in the room flashed on and blinded him before a bag was thrown over his head. Section 3. Watcher returned to the dining hall where he found Chunyao resting on one of the chairs.
Hey there, Doc. Taking a break from the search? Has anyone found the butlers yet?
We found the Chef Benedict. He was reading in the library and said he has been there since this morning. It looked like he was reading some wilderness survival guide for fun.
An interesting hobby, that's for sure. I can't blame him, though. I'm just glad that we found one of the butlers.
But,
Doc, I wanted to ask your opinion on something. I managed to get a hold of these, and I was wondering if there were any tests you could run, or even just experienced observations that you might be able to make of them.
Watcher handed Chunyao the bottle that Isaac had last taken a drink from, and a needle he found under Bunner's bed. Chunyao gently placed the bottle on the table and went over to the bar where she grabbed a sealed bottle of the same drink and returned. She then took out 2 colorful strips of paper and placed them on some napkins
so cute.
before pouring a few drops on each paper and watching the slips of paper carefully. After a few seconds, the color changed, and she stayed quiet for a moment before speaking.
There's no doubt about it. This bottle has some sort of chemical in it that is making it a bit more basic. Without getting lost in the weeds, I can say for certain that this bottle has been tampered with in some way.
Watcher nodded his head in understanding.
Do you have any clue what could be in the syringe? Do you remember seeing any marks on Bunner? I briefly looked over his body when I was searching the room, but I don't recall seeing anything that stood out.
Chunyao shook her head.
Sorry, I can't say I did. We have to wait for the police to arrive for anything is determined for sure.
Least visible? Wait, what do you mean by that?
Yes, that's
What does that
actually
mean?
another thing I wanted to mention. It looks like the phone lines are down. I tried calling the chauffeur this morning, but nothing has gone through. We might be stuck here for a while. At least until the storm outside settles a bit.
That's a bit worrying,
Oh,
but
I see.
it would make sense considering how violent the storm is outside. I'll try it out myself once I've rested up.
Watcher nodded and left the dining hall to question Benedict about the library. When he heard a soft thud coming from the hallway, he turned around immediately and returned to the dining hall.
Hey, Doc, sorry to bother you so soon. I just heard the strangest noise from the hallway outside. And my paranoia might be getting the better of me, but would you mind accompanying me to check it out?
Chunyao nodded and rose from her seat, taking the tampered bottle and the syringe as a precaution before joining Watcher. The pair saw the light seeping out from underneath one of the rooms and quietly approached it. Once they drew closer, they noticed that the door was slightly ajar. And
Are we
Watcher
stuck in
peeked
stock
into
in
the room.
Mattel?
It was well lit inside, and nothing looked out of the ordinary aside from a messy bed and the doors to the wardrobe in the corner of the room being wide open. The pair then stepped inside and looked around. Watcher then saw a figure lying on the bed on the opposite side and walked closer. He signaled for Chunyao to come over, and she quickly dropped to the floor to check Kaz's vitals. As Bonini checked Strakowski's body, Watcher looked around the room and found a newspaper clipping stuck underneath a cassette player. He pulled it out and read to himself.
Botched experiment or foul play. Professor Unther Norman found dead in his laboratory this morning. His research assistants testify that they had left him alone with an old research pal the night before, but when they returned in the morning to review the results, they found him dead and his research all missing. Kaz Strakowski is currently the lead suspect in the case, but has gone missing.
It looks like once again we were too late. This time I can say for certain that this was no accident. And it definitely wasn't suicide. Kaz was most definitely killed by the hands of somebody. It looks like they used some kind of bag to suffocate him.
The two lifted Kaz onto the bed and laid a sheet over him before they stepped out of the room and decided to head to the library together to meet up with the others. Chapter 4, Section 1. Chunio and Watcher arrived at the small library on the other side of the mansion, where they found everyone sitting together. Both butlers were attending to the group with light snacks and tea.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to see everyone's here, and that we found the butlers. I regret that I do have to inform everyone that during the time we were all split up, Kaz Strakowski was killed.
The room suddenly became quiet as everyone turned and looked at Watcher.
He's dead!
Where did you find him?
In one of the guest rooms to the right of the dining hall. Chunio and I discovered him on the floor. We believe he had been suffocated with some kind of bag.
I wonder where this building is. I want to go.
Both Stronikin and I locked the doors to the first floor when we went to bed last night.
Yeah, Fibo, it's you!
That's right. We both checked all the rooms and locked them up before we went to bed.
With wary eyes, the group then shifted their attention to the two butlers.
You guys are gonna kill me next with those looks. But you've been with us the whole time since you found us, and I would also like to point something else out. Kaz told us this morning that Zach had unfortunately passed away last night, and that you guys had laid him to rest in a nearby room, correct?
Everyone nodded.
However, both Stronikin and I can testify and guarantee that all the first floor rooms were locked when we went to sleep. We were tired early last night, and so it stands to reason that you should have not been able to gain access to any of the first floor rooms.
What useless dribble is this filthy dog in the mansion spouting out? You guys have already displayed a lack of professionalism and ability by failing to inform us of your early retirement yesterday. It is not out of the question that both of you simply forgot to lock one, if not more, of the rooms. Besides, do you simply believe us to be so stupid as to believe you two really were asleep at all? You have no guarantee that you had gone to bed early or that you stayed in bed the entire night.
While I hate to encourage this uncouth man, he speaks the truth. Do you guys have any guarantee that you both not only were in your rooms, but remained there from after you left us to clean the dishes to this morning? A small look of amusement and appreciation crossed Foxy's face as the priest backed up his claim.
We do not. However, if we begin suspecting one another of being capable of doing such a horrible thing to another person, then surely we'll be playing right into the culprit's
Oh my
hands
gosh,
by
Foxy's the
isolating ourselves
murderer?
and staying distant. I urge you to at least have a basic level of trust in us.
I would like to add that this morning, while I didn't see the butlers, I did a walk around the mansion and checked all the doors. They were all locked, except for the one leading to the room where we left Bunnington in, of course. And then I checked twice more today. Once after we discovered Bunner's body, and once more right after we all split off to find the butlers. Each time they were still locked.
A slight look of relief washed over Kenryu's face.
I met with Bonlock after splitting up from all of you. This means that at the very least Benedict could not have done it since the timeline wouldn't match up.
Everyone looked at each other with a hint of skepticism, but accepted Chunyao's logic and shifted their attention to Stronikin.
If it would ease your hearts to suspect me, then I will take on your suspicion. However, I can assure you that it was not me. Mr. Strawthorne and Mr. Strawkin can both attest to my innocence in this matter.
As easy as it would be to pin the blame on Stronikin, it isn't that simple. We both found him cleaning the guest bathroom upstairs and stayed with him till he finished. And after he did, we returned here and saw Bunini entering the dining hall from the hallway.
Do you guys want salmon?
What this means is that the room that Kaz was killed in was still locked when we met up with everyone here.
I can back up this timeline. Strawthorn and I both saw Dr. Bonini returning to the dining hall.
You guys are so cute.
Where are all the keys that can unlock the first floor rooms?
Just the 2 master keys that we possess.
As far as I'm aware, the only keys that
Here
could
comes the
unlock
airplane.
those doors would be our master keys.
Stronican reached into his pocket and drew out a large key with an
You guys are so
elaborate design.
cute.
This is my master key. We were each given only one when we
So
were employed, and there are
cute.
only 2 of these master keys.
Benedict fished around his pocket, and a look of confusion flashed by his face. He then checked another one of his pockets, and another one, and another, before he let out a nervous chuckle.
I seem to have lost mine somewhere. I usually keep it in this pocket, but it's missing.
Benedict then overturned his pockets and found a hole at the bottom of his back pocket.
I
Ever
don't
said the
remember ever
second straw,
putting my
buddy.
key back here, but it's possible I put it in there this morning to make room in my other pockets to carry as many packets of oatmeal as I could from the pantry.
What a sorry excuse for your carelessness. I bet you handed your key to your co-conspirator and cut that hole to use as an excuse if anyone began to suspect you.
Kenryu stood up with a rage-filled expression. That's enough, Sir Foxy. Please don't instigate any fights
really
when we are
cute how
already on
everybody's,
edge
like-
from these circumstances.
And Foxy is in a
I
perpetual
propose we
state of...
split into 3 groups. One will stay in the library with
It's really
Stronican.
cute. Just
The second will go down
all
to
the time, all
with
day, every
Bunlock
day.
to investigate the room that Strokowski was found in to see if the key is in there. The third will go with Benedict to the pantry to see if his key is still
finished my
lying around on
salmon.
the floor somewhere. And while we're down there, I believe it would be wise to move as
done.
much sealed food and drink to the kitchen to avoid any future trips down to
We're
the pantry
watching
that could lead to
Umiusagi,
unnecessary
Straw
risk
Buddies
and
We Left
seclusion.
Behind.
Everyone thought for a moment before nodding in agreement, and so the remaining 7 people split off into these 3 groups: Bunlock and
It's a murder
Strawthorn,
mystery.
Stronican and Bonini, and finally Sir
Bunny.
Foxy, Strauchan, and Benedict. Section 2.
Benedict
The
Cumberbatch.
trio left the library, taking Stronican's master key with them to unlock the basement door, and also as an added safety precaution to ensure that he didn't slip out when Shunya was distracted and unlock any doors that could still be locked. Then they started heading out towards the pantry, while Sir Foxy stared daggers at Benedict, and Strauchan kept telling him to cut it out. As they neared the basement door, they looked around and saw Strawthorn and Bunlock descending as well. Both groups briefly reconvened and then watched each other enter their respective rooms. After Strauchan unlocked the basement
It
door,
was my birthday
the trio
last,
began
on
descending the spiral
Friday.
staircase that led to the pantry and wine
And we
cellar.
had a
The
little,
further they
little
went down,
birthday
the colder it began to
celebration.
get, as
And
if
my
the chill of
Strawbunnies
death
made
were
this
slowly encroaching on
feature-length
them.
film for me.
I always hated being sent down here. The only time I liked going down here was in the summer after tending the garden. I would always find an excuse to
Tending
come
the
down here
garden.
and rest where it was nice and cool year round. I started it here off as the gardener, but truth be told I hated it and was much more passionate about cooking.
Hey, I care.
Life does seem to lead us down many twists and turns. I too started off doing something completely unrelated to serving in the church. But one thing led to another, and a chance encounter has brought me to where I am today.
If
Hey,
you
birthday
two
gift
are
for
conspiring
me.
to kill me by boredom through your sentimental retellings of your past, it is most assuredly working. I have never been more bored in my life.
Strauchan shoots Sir Foxy a warning glance.
Don't look at me like that, dog of the church. I merely wish to say that we are wasting valuable energy talking when we should be more worried about how we are going to find a gray key on a stone floor.
It's a pretty fancy key, so it shouldn't be too difficult to find it if it's still down here.
The trio finally reached the bottom, where Benedict searched around the right side of the wall and flipped the light
Right
switch,
side.
which illuminated the room. They then began retracing Benedict's route from this morning, They each searched the ground for the key and doubled back to search once more, but they found nothing. Finally, they reached the end of the
Oh my
pantry,
gosh,
where all
Phoebo!
the oatmeal
Phoebo,
packets
Foxy
were
called you
stored,
Frittles. Be
and
super
something
hurt. See,
shiny
oh my
caught the eye
gosh.
of Benedict.
So you hate
Yeah,
me?
I found something.
You can't even
The
remember
other
my
two
name. You
quickly
hate
came
me
over
so
as they spotted the
much.
metallic object
Play it up,
glinting
play
in
it
the
up.
sunlight. Kenryu reached
Bring
the
the drama,
object
bring the
and pulled it
drama.
out from underneath a sack of oatmeal packets.
What's this? Some kind
And then
of
everybody in
pendant?
chat has to gasp.
Let me see. Quite the exquisite piece of
Oh my
jewelry for a dirty place
gosh!
like this. How strange.
Oh my gosh,
This is
poor
the crest of
Phoebo.
Uzaki-stan.
Poor
The picture in the
Phoebo, oh
pendant
my
is too faded for me
gosh.
to tell
Yeah,
who it
not
is,
cool, man.
but
Not
this
cool.
definitely comes from royalty.
Oh my gosh, Chinyo's got the
So
popcorn.
you're useful for something after all.
How
I
could
seem
you
to
do
have heard
this
the
to
yapping
Phoebo,
of a dog
Foxy?
around here.
I can't
How
believe
strange.
this. This is
I can
so
even smell the stink of
sad.
hubris coming from a certain house spot.
Oh my
The
gosh,
two glared
Foxy,
at each other
you
as
hate
Strauchan
Phoebo.
sighed. Let's not fight one another,
It's okay,
especially in the presence
It's
of our great
okay.
leader's emblem. We should bring this pendant with us up to the library to see if Strauchan can recognize it, or if we can find any pictures in the books. The other two backed down for a minute, and the trio began collecting non-perishable foods and sealed bottles of wine, as well as jugs of water, before they began to head back up the stairs. As they neared the stairs, the lights flickered and they quickened their pace. Finally, they arrived at the foot of the stairs and began ascending. Sir Foxy and Strauchan began debating who should go search the books for pictures and who will talk to Strauchan as they continued climbing. As Kenryu began to climb, he noticed a second glinting object near the edge of the wine cellar and dropped his bag to quickly go grab it. As he neared the object, he noticed it was the master key he had dropped earlier, sitting next to an expensive bottle of wine. He looked around and saw no one, so he put the master key in his pocket and took the bottle of wine. He put the wine bottle in his bag of food and began ascending the stairs as he could still faintly hear the voices of Sir Foxy and Strauchan ahead. He heard their footsteps stop as they seemed to have reached the top, and they called down, "Is everything all right, Benedict? Do you need help carrying your bag?"
Hurry up, dog of the manor. My time is much too valuable to be spent waiting on the likes of you. If it were not for this annoying lapdog of the church, I would have left you down there long ago.
Remind me again who was too worried about injuring their hand and brought the least amount of items up? If your strength matches your ego, maybe I wouldn't need to be carried so much. Also, I would like to throw in that I'm only this far behind because I found the master key and went to retrieve it.
That's wonderful to hear. We'll set down our bags outside the door and come down to help you. The pair at the top
I like when people
opened the
say,
door and walked out to set their bags down in the hallway. Kenryu continued to climb the stairs when out of nowhere he feels something catch his ankle. In an instant he is jerked backwards and he yells out while trying to catch himself, but fails and tumbles down the stairs. Strauchan and Sir Foxy hear Benedict's cry and immediately drop their bags and begin running down the stairs. At the bottom they see a mess of food on the floor and a small trail of blood leading from the foot of the stairs back into the pantry. The pair runs to the light and flips the switch on, but none of the lights turn on. Section 3. Sir Foxy and Strauchan slowly followed the trail of blood as it led back into the pantry. They were careful not to step directly on the trail in case it was important evidence later, and so they each walked on either side of the trail as they inched closer and closer to the end. Finally, after carefully following the trail, they ran into a large metal door with a faded label that read "Freezer." The pair looked around once again and ensured that nobody else was in the room with them as they placed their hands on the old freezer door and pulled it open together. A blast of frigid air slammed into them immediately as the two stepped in, making sure to leave the door propped open through both a crate of wine they placed at the edge of the frame, as well as a plank of wood they broke off from the crate to place inside the space between the hinges and door, ensuring there was no way to accidentally close themselves in. They turned the light switch on, and a dim light poorly lit up the room. They could barely see the trail of blood as they continued following it. Soon it led them into a large walk-in meat freezer, where a few slabs of meat lay scattered across the room, hanging on hooks. It's as cold as the heart of a bun in here. Maybe we should turn back and put on some clothes more suited for this escapade.
The fire of your passion can only warm you up so much, dog of the church.
He takes off a light jacket he was wearing and puts it on Strauchen.
Don't get it twisted,
romance.
You mangy mutt.
Yowie?
It would be a great hindrance to me if you couldn't carry your bag of supplies up because your hands got frostbitten.
Thank you, Sir Foxy. At first I must admit that I did not see the light of our glorious leader in your soul. But it seems our leader had not yet planned to show me that light until now. A faint smile crossed Sir Foxy's lips as he lengthened his stride and pulled ahead slightly. They soon reached a cold storage room for cold cuts and fish, where they found Benedict's body, not yet frozen. They searched his body and found the master key.
I like how
Then they went on either side of him and
the
lifted
chef's
him
hat
up
stays
between
on.
their shoulders. As they began carrying his body back, they slowly trudged through the meat freezer and back through the refrigerator room where they had come in from.
That hat is
They
pretty
brought
sturdy,
Benedict
huh?
back to the foot of the stairs, where they sat him down and took a rest on the stairs. Getting him up the stairs will be a chore, but once we get him up, we can finally put him to rest. Getting him up the stairs will be a chore, but once we're able to, we can finally put him to rest. Somewhere as dark and cold as this is no place for such a fine man as Benedict to rest. However,
let me rest a little longer before you state the obvious. I don't fancy the idea of not being alone down here, but that is an almost certain fact given where we found this man.
a faint smile grew on Strauchen's lips before it was replaced with a wide-eyed stare. My eyes may be playing tricks on me, but look. Strauchen pointed to the freezer door that they had left open.
What about it? Is your good conscience weighing on you because we left the door to the overgrown fridge open?
That's not it. When we left the fridge, I had forgotten to turn off the light, but I don't see it on now. The two stood up and picked Benedict up.
Wait, did it really?
As they slowly...
Okay, look at the length of the hat. We're at 1:06:28. Oh my gosh! Yeah, your hat really did grow.
The two stood up and picked Benedict up. As they slowly began backing up the stairwell, they half carried, half dragged Benedict up for what seemed like an eternity before reaching the top of the stairs. They pushed the door open and collapsed to the ground as they caught their breath. After a few minutes, they regained their energy and looked around the hallway. Quickly, go fetch the doctor. And don't forget this. Strauchen gave Sir Foxy the master key.
My massive head full of massive knowledge.
What are you going to do? Don't go back down there by yourself. I know your brain is only filled with faith and prayer, but I also know that for a Mongol, you're pretty smart.
I'll take that as a compliment. I'm going to go ask Unlock and Strawthorn to accompany me down to see if we can catch this incarnation of evil while they're trapped.
Crazy.
This is the only entrance and exit, and they have yet to come up, meaning they're still stuck down there. The two parted ways as Sir Foxy ran up the stairs to get Dr. Bonini, while Strauchen went to the room on the other side of the hall to get Bunlock and Strawthorn. Strauchen entered the room and looked around for Bunlock and Strawthorn, but didn't see them anywhere. As he wandered around the room, he faintly heard the voices of the ones he was looking for outside. He quickly ran out the room and saw a figure close the basement door and run down the stairs. As he ran to the basement door, he heard Sir Foxy coming down the stairs with Bonini, and he called out, Sir Foxy! Dr. Bonini! I just saw Strawthorn and Bunlock enter the basement stairwell. I believe they may have grown suspicious when Sir Foxy and I didn't return and ran down to check on us. I'm running down now to warn them of the danger down there.
Wait just a minute. I'll join you.
Sir Foxy called out, but by the time he got down with Dr. Bonini, Strauchen had already entered the stairwell.
That idiot! Dr. Nini, stay here and inspect Benedict's body. If I don't return in 30 minutes, lock this door and return to Stronican. These are the only 2 keys that are able to lock and unlock this door, so even if the worst comes to pass, the killer will be locked down there until the police arrive.
Sir Foxy gave both master keys to Dr. Bonini and ran after Strachan. He quickly descended as he called out Strachan's name. Finally, he reached the bottom, where an eerie silence filled the room. He crept over to the freezer before he felt a pair of hands touch him. He jumped back and swung around.
Wait, it's just me.
Me as well. We just saw Strachan run into the freezer room.
Why are you 2 down here?
We were in the kitchen organizing the food that you guys had brought up when we heard you 2 talking. We went out to join up with you and saw Benedict's body, and Strachan was gone.
Yes, then we went back to the room that we were searching before, but we didn't see him there. So we thought maybe he might have run down the stairs, whether to investigate or get more food or whatever. We followed him down here.
Sir Foxy shot them a wary gaze as he skeptically accepted their account.
And then you saw him run in the freezer? Why didn't you try to stop him?
We didn't see him until he had already gone in, and we heard you coming down, so we figured we'd wait for you.
Well, let's go. I swear that priest is nothing but trouble.
The trio quickly went into the freezer room. As they looked around for Strachan, Bunlock and Strawthorn pulled out some flashlights they had found in the pantry and gave an extra one to Sir Foxy. The 3 entered the walk-in meat freezer section, where they continued searching for Strachan. Finally, they made their way to the extra storage room, where Benedict had been found. Sir Foxy gently opened the door, and standing there with his arms stretched out towards the sky was Strachan. Gently approached Strachan and looked at him.
Get enough sleep for the both of us, partner.
Strawthorn and Sir Foxy carefully lifted Strachan's body up as they carried him out. Bunlock walked behind them with a flashlight before he noticed a piece of paper stuck on one of the hooks. He carefully took it off the hook and read it to himself as he followed the other 2 out.
Witchcraft or religious ceremony gone awry. On the 17th of May, Barnacan Ownwell was found buried underneath what investigators call a magic circle. He was last seen alive 2 days prior, where he allegedly got into a fight with the head of the local church, Reverend Freddles, after which he left the church but disappeared on his way home. The current lead suspect is Strachan Freddles. However, around the same time, he too disappeared, and the village locals refused to give any information to the authorities on the matter, out of fear of receiving divine punishment.
Chapter 5, Section 1. Strawthorn, Sir Foxy, and Bunlock all returned from the pantry, carrying the supplies that Benedict had left at the foot of the stairs,
dropping like flies,
along with Strachan's body. Upon reaching the top, they gently laid Strachan down, and Dr. Bonini began inspecting the body. Strawthorn and Sir Foxy both went up to the library to find Strachan, while Bunlock stayed with Bonini and inspected Benedict's body, where he found a slip of paper hidden away in his back pocket.
Construction begins on the Unich estate. A plot of land has recently been purchased by Sir Unich Norman, one of the 12 justices of the High Court of Usachi Stan. A small controversy arose when the land was originally purchased due to its historical significance as one of the key points in the Abyssal Wars, where our esteemed leader laid siege to the Abyss's headquarters and paved the way for the reclamation of Strabania. However, in the end, Usachi Yui herself granted permission to Unich Norman, allowing him to begin construction on the new estate built in her honor.
I am Usachi Yui.
Then escorted Bonini back upstairs to meet with everyone in the library. Section 2. Everyone gathered together in the library, where a heavy silence filled the room. Sir Foxy pulled out a pendant from his coat pocket and laid it down on the table.
While we were down in the pantry, we found this where Benedict had gotten this morning's oatmeal from.
No, I don't know how to write.
Whose it might be?
The pendant was passed around between each person, but none
I can't reach my pen through the screen.
Finally, it came around to Schwanigan,
I also don't have a pen.
Where he looked at it for a minute before passing it back to Sir Foxy.
This is one of the Norman family pendants. Each member had one specially crafted for them, and each pendant had a unique design that was made to match the one who wore it. Unfortunately, I cannot say that I recognize who this pendant belongs to. The design seems familiar, but I know for sure that it is not the Master's.
How can you be so sure?
Stronican shook his head and remained silent for a minute.
When the Master passed, his remaining family fought for his inheritance and took away anything that seemed of value to them.
Oh my gosh.
In fact, the only reason this mansion still bears his name and was only occupied by myself and Benedict was because the Master transferred ownership of it to this country's sovereign, as a sign of goodwill and a token of appreciation for allowing him to build his retirement home on historic soil. This pendant and this estate are all we have left to remember him by. The Master entrusted this pendant to me with instructions to keep it hidden until the promised day arrived.
The promised day? Is that part of the faith?
Stronican shook his head once more.
He believed that one day his missing son would be found, and that when that day arrived, whether he was dead or alive, he should be given this pendant.
His missing son?
Huh.
Oh my gosh.
A missing son?
Plot thickens.
Is there anything else that you could tell us?
Unfortunately, I don't know any more about his son. However, as you can see, the style of the pendant from the pantry matches the pendant from my late master.
Everyone stared at the pendant for a moment before noticing a slight chill in the air. Sir Foxy winced slightly at the drop in temperature and walked towards one of the vents.
The heating system seems to have stopped working. Is this another one of the cowardly mongrels' tricks to separate us again? How utterly worthless. A slight chill is of smaller significance than the life of the scoundrel who committed these atrocities in my presence.
The group continued discussing the pendant and its significance as the temperature continued to slowly decline. After a couple of hours, the house felt nearly as frigid as the outdoors, and everyone agreed to move downstairs to the dining hall, where there was a fireplace. As the group began moving towards the stairs, the lights began to flicker, and suddenly the entire manor was plunged into darkness.
The generator must have failed due to the temperature. Unfortunately for us, this has become an issue we cannot ignore. If the generator were to freeze over, we would be stuck here without electricity for who knows how long.
Then we'll have to make a detour there before we go to the dining hall.
Bunlock, Strawthorn, and Sir Foxy pulled out their flashlights, and Stronican led the way as Bonini followed closely behind. Once they got downstairs, Stronican turned and walked towards the kitchen, where a metal door led to the boiler room. Bonini unlocked the door with one of the master keys, and they all went inside. A vast space revealed itself as they entered the boiler room and looked around. There were several large boilers that stood tall. The heat from the boilers could still be felt despite having been off for several hours. In the corner was an incinerator used for garbage disposal, and along the back wall stretched a large coal-powered generator with an intricate venting system to let off the exhaust. The door to the generator was open, and charred coals lay smoldering in a pile.
We'll have to get fresh coal and some lighting fluid to restart the generator.
Stronican led the group to the left side, where a large chest was sitting. Bonini opened the chest with the master key, and Strawthorn and Bunlock both lifted the heavy iron lid and finally opened it.
There's nothing in here. How is that even possible? You guys
How
were
is this
clearly
possible?
expecting us to stay over here for a few nights. So how come there's no spare coal?
I can move back.
Sir Foxy grabbed Stronican by the collar and pushed him towards the chest.
I can assure you, Sir Foxy, that there was more than enough in the chest when you all had arrived. Even with the amount that the generator requires to run, we had made sure to stockpile on the highest quality coal, so that even in the case that you all needed to stay an extra week, there would be enough coal to sustain us.
Sir Foxy released Stronican and stepped away.
I'm not sure how the culprit managed to remove so much coal by himself, or if he hid it elsewhere, but that doesn't matter. We have a smaller chest with emergency reserves in case we are ever stuck in a storm such as this one.
Stronican turned around and led the group to the opposite corner, where a small crate was hidden away. He opened the crate and found a small batch of coal that was still fresh. Strawthorn and Bunlock helped lift the crate, and together they brought it to the generator, where they dumped the coal in and stepped away. Stronican then walked over to a nearby shelf, where some fire-starting fluid had been sitting, and doused his handkerchief in it before throwing it into the pile of coal and lighting it up with a match. After a few minutes, Stronican pulled the power switch on the generator down, and it slowly sputtered to life. The boilers came back to life, and the lights returned.
I'm paying attention.
Slowly, the
Just
manor
very
began to
sleepy.
heat up once more. Everyone cheered and quickly left the boiler room. While on their way to the dining hall, they stopped by the kitchen to collect some sealed cans of food and bottles of water. Once they had collected their dinner, they finally made it to the dining hall.
And they're
Everyone
all
sat
alive. I
down
kind of
in
thought one of them
silence.
was gonna die.
They all looked around at each other as a thought dawned upon them. The one behind it all was sitting somewhere around this table. Section 3. Dinner drew to a close, and everyone decided it would be best to retire for the night. First they went to the bar in the dining hall, where a small leather box sat on the countertop. Bonini placed the 2 master keys in the box, and then they all placed the box in a glass display case. They locked the door of the display case and walked away together. Then they went to the servants' quarters, where they bid Stronican a good night and moved upstairs. Once they were upstairs, they lined up in front of their rooms and together went into their respective rooms, before locking the doors and placing a chair underneath each door handle. Stronican laid down in his bed, staring up at the ceiling as he held onto his late master's pendant. He slowly drifted off to sleep.
Stronican gonna die.
Tightly onto the pendant. A few hours passed, and Stronican suddenly woke up. Almost instantly, he noticed a dark figure in the corner of the room.
I suppose it's my time to exit the stage now, isn't it?
It didn't have to end this way, Stronican. You know just as well as I do that this was an end you brought upon yourself.
Before you end me, can you at least tell me if there's any purpose in my death? Is it revenge? There was nothing we could have done to save the master.
Purpose in your death? No. In the end, death is the great equalizer. The only thing that can give a death meaning is the life that preceded it. Also, you know just as well as I do that I don't believe that excuse. Your sloth brought upon the death of a great man. However, as thanks for earlier, I'll at least bring a peaceful end to your overstayed life.
I'm grateful that you will at least grant me that much, after all that I have done to you.
I'm sorry for the crazy, I don't know if you could hear the background noise, but it looks like it's pretty high, like coming up pretty high on my
He felt a slight prick
monitoring.
as his mind slowly muddled and faded to black.
I think the washing
Section
machine
4.
is running.
The grandfather clock chimed 9 times as everyone woke up and prepared themselves for another stressful day. They each removed the chairs from
you don't
underneath
hear
their
it? That's
handles
good.
and unlocked their doors. Everyone then stepped into the hallway at the same time and looked at one another.
Welcome to another day.
Good to see you all still here.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
The 4 walked down the stairs into the servants' quarters to check on Stronican, although a creeping feeling in each one of them told them they would be greeting another corpse soon. They knocked
I love
on
when
the
a
door to the
disembodied
servants'
voice comes
quarters,
out and breaks your neck. Yeah, it's
and
my
received
favorite in
no
the whole
response.
world.
They tried a second time in futile hope, as they began to suspect another one of them had gone. Bunlock turned the knob and entered the room first. On the bed lay Stronican, seemingly in a peaceful sleep.
He's
and Bonini
dead!
slowly
Poor
approached him before
Romain.
checking his pulse. Watcher looked around the room and stepped onto a small sheet of paper.
Chief Justice Eunich Norman passes away. This morning, Chief Justice Eunich Norman was reported dead by his butlers. He was found seemingly asleep in his bed this morning as they brought him breakfast. But the head butler noticed something was off and contacted the family doctor. The doctor confirmed later that day that he had died of natural causes. Our great leader, Usachi, has announced that she would be giving a speech to honor one of the longest-serving members of her high court.
Bunlock slid
My
the
high
paper into his
court!
pocket alongside
I
all
know I
the
had one of
others he had
those.
collected thus far, and
I
looked
mean,
around
yes,
for
I
more
have one of
clues
those.
before spotting a syringe on the floor, much like the one he had given to Dr. Bonini the day before. He looked at Bonini, who was carefully examining the body, and then at everyone else, who seemed preoccupied with watching the doctor at work. He decided to confront Bonini about it later, so as to not arouse any unnecessary suspicion. Finally, the group laid a sheet over Stronican and left the room quietly. They grabbed some canned food from the kitchen and walked to the dining hall, where they sat down and slowly ate their breakfast, while quietly judging one another.
Don't you love sitting down to eat your breakfast after you inspect a dead body?
Everyone quietly waited for someone to speak up.
You're like, oh wow, someone died. Anyways,
on
this can of beans is real good.
After eating breakfast, they checked the glass display case and found that it was still locked, and the glass was still intact. From there, they returned upstairs and went to the library to try and see if they could find any more clues relating to the pendant that Sir Foxy had found yesterday. They quietly walked around the library, gathering books related to the royal families of the past and present, before quietly reconvening at the large table in the middle. Chapter 6. Section 1. The hours begin to pass in an almost paradoxical manner, where each minute seems to drag on past infinity, yet the hours blend together into one, and soon the natural alarm bell of hunger reminds them all of how much time has truly passed. Watcher finally breaks the silence as he makes a proposal.
Throughout the last few days, I've searched around the manor at any moment I had available to me. However, the nature of each victim's end only gets stranger and stranger, and seemingly more impossible. Each death now could be explained with the addition of some unknown culprit, but the author has decided to follow at least some of Nox's commandments.
Watcher turns to the camera and stares directly at you.
I also know that we've been making progress towards discovering the true identity of our killer. Unfortunately for us, we are still bound by our biological needs, and so I propose that we split up, briefly.
What other nonsense are you spouting now? You realize that dividing out numbers is exactly what the enemy wants?
Yes, but I don't believe we can risk taking a break from our research.
So you believe this research is more important than sticking together to stop anyone else from dying?
You're failing to see the bigger picture here, Sir Foxy. Splitting up this moment is a guarantee for our safety. If we split up right now, 2 of us can continue researching up here and bringing us closer to the truth, while the other 2 can go down and collect more than enough food to keep us fed and safe up here, where we can all focus our efforts on researching the pendant.
Yeah, it's like in a horror movie where they're like, wow, it's getting really bad. We should split up.
You think you're making yourself look more suspicious by pushing us to split up.
Look, I understand that much, but let me run you through my logic. If we split up now, the culprit will be unable to kill any of us without exposing their identity. If I were the culprit and I went down with Chuniao and then killed her and returned, alone, I would immediately be found out. And the same remains true if either of you are the culprit and we return to only one of you remaining.
That's true, but it could also be true that the pair that returned simply had bad timing or some other factor came in, and only one person was able to return or remain.
I had considered that as well. It's definitely plausible that after we split up, the culprit kills another person and hides their body, then makes some logical excuse for why the other person is missing. However, if I were the killer, I think I would want us to stay together right now.
And why is that?
Well, I believe it would be a lot easier to slip away from a group of 3 other people all focused on collecting food than it would be to slip away from one other person who's focused on their task and on monitoring their partner. Once the culprit slips away, they're free to roam around and do as they please. Yes, there's strength in numbers, but it's also easier to lose track of someone the more people there are.
You make a valid point. Alright, you've won me over with your logic.
Good. Does anyone else oppose this brief separation?
I'm still a little shaky on fully supporting it, but you did make some good points, and if I think it through a little more, I'm sure that I would have arrived at the same conclusion.
I believe it is important that we stay fed, and I also reached the same reasoning when you were talking it through with Sir Foxy.
Great. Then Dr. Bignini and I will go down to collect food for all of us, while the 2 of you can stay up here and continue looking into the pendant.
With that, the group of 4 split up, and Bunlock and Bonini start making their way to the kitchen. As they were walking down the stairs, Bunlock cleared his throat.
So, what do you think of the pendant? Were you able to find anything out about it?
Not quite, but I feel like I'm on the edge of a breakthrough. There was this particular book that stood out to me while I was in a library yesterday that seemed to be a collection of children's books. It stood out to me given how different it was from the rest of the books. And I believe it may be tied to Unachinomi's lost son.
Watcher listened attentively and logged this new information into his memory.
That's amazing, Dr. Benini. I can't believe I didn't pick up on that earlier.
Benini smiled softly as they finally reached the kitchen and began filling up the sacks with as much food as they could. A strange, comforting silence filled the room as the pair finished collecting food. After that, they began ascending the stairs.
Say, Dr. Benini, do you still have that syringe I gave you yesterday?
Benini froze for a second.
No, it disappeared from my room last night.
Is that so? Well, that's a little worrying. Were you at least able to find out what was in it?
No, I wasn't able to before it disappeared. After you gave it to me, I put it in my bag and then Sir Proxy called me down to inspect Benedict's body. And from then on, I wasn't able to make time to return to my room. Then last night, as I was going to bed, I looked for it and I couldn't find it anywhere.
Oh.
But everything else was left in your bag.
Yes, just the syringe went missing.
So in other words, were we to find the syringe, you would still be able to analyze it.
Benini nodded.
Well, I just so happened to find the syringe in Stronigan's room this morning. I suggest we go grab your bag and you can take a look at analyzing it over lunch.
That's great. I hope it can lead to something else.
The pair made a quick detour to Benini's room, where they grabbed her medical bag, and then they returned to the library and explained the situation to Strawthorn and Sir Foxy. They each grabbed their choice of canned food from the bags that Bunlock and Bonini had brought with them.
Did they bring a can opener too?
And cleared a space on the table where Bonini could work. They ate quietly as Bonini set up a small workstation in the space that was cleared for her. Then she sat down and joined the other three in lunch, where Bunlock explained the history of the syringe, which sparked a small conversation about what the contents of the syringe could possibly be, before returning once more to talking about the pendant. And finally, they finished the meals in silence. After a few minutes, everyone settled back into their roles and continued desperately searching for anything leading to the identity of the pendant's owner, but to no avail. The minutes turned to hours, and exhaustion
I feel like the syringe must just have poison.
It looks like we were able to make it through the day without any further incidents occurring. I believe we should all turn in for tonight. We can continue tomorrow.
Sounds like a plan. The storm seems to have died down a little, so I hope that we'll be able to leave in a couple of days.
Yes, I hope so as well. Please, all of you, make sure to lock your doors and put chairs under the handles tonight. Seems that the culprit was able to get into Stronigan's room despite him having locked the door. However, they didn't
Maybe there's
get
like
to
a
any
secret
of us.
passage.
I can only assume that putting the chairs under the handles made the difference and was sufficient enough to deter the culprit last night.
Everyone nodded in agreement as they all got up and
just all
walked to their
sleep in
rooms
the same
together.
room of a slumber
Once
party.
again, they all stood in front of their respective doors and entered at the same time. The sounds of 4 locks clicking and 4 chairs being dragged against the floor before placed under the handle signified the sealing of each room for the night, and soon silence enveloped the manor. Section 2. Bonini sat at her desk and continued examining the sample. It seemed like just plain salt water, but she was unable
Bonini
to
better
determine
not die.
if that was all there was to it, or if there had been some kind of chemical mixed into it. She continued examining it before finally putting it away, and concluding that it was mere salt water and nothing else. She placed the syringe back into her bag and lay down in bed as she stared up at the ceiling.
Just plain old salt water, huh? That's a bit anticlimactic, but I guess it's okay. There's just one thing bugging me still.
She got up out of her bed and quietly took the syringe from her bag. She then approached the door, where she silently removed the chair and opened the door. After she left her room, she looked around her surroundings and focused on listening in on the environment as she made her way to the library. As she walked to the library, she could hear the creaking of old pipes and the soft ticking of the grandfather clock echoed throughout the manor. Upon arriving at the library, she looked around and found a door leading to a study room. She entered the study room and walked to a nearby shelf, where a small microscope was sitting. It was covered with dust, but seemed to still function properly. So after dusting it, she placed it on the desk and dropped a few drops of the water from the syringe into the petri dish. She then looked into the microscope and gasped.
There's bacteria in here. More than that, this is bacteria that is only found in ocean water, which raises the question of how it got here when Seabunnies in the middle of Usachi's done.
She then put away the microscope and began making her way back to her room. When she remembered the book she had seen earlier and made a detour to the first floor bookshelves, she ran her eyes across each row and finally recognized a few titles that she remembered being near the book
But
she had
Trinia
seen.
was so brave walking around by herself.
She noticed a small but equal space between each book. She continued looking over the row, but found nothing, and that's when the spacing of the books began to make sense.
Whoever took the book made a great deal of effort to make sure its disappearance wasn't noticed.
She began to feel sleepy and decided to return to her room now that she had at least confirmed what was in the syringe and was able to internally narrow down where it could have possibly come from. Suddenly, she heard this faint sound of footsteps. At first, she thought she was just hearing her own footsteps, and so she walked slower and minimized the sound that she made. However, she still heard a set of footsteps attempting to walk in sync with her in an almost childlike manner. Bonini turned her head, but only darkness met her vision. She stopped for a moment and listened. There was nothing but silence, and so she began walking again. Once more, she heard footsteps and quickened her pace. The footsteps grew closer and louder before disappearing into the darkness. She quickly closed and locked her door. She then placed a chair under the handle and looked around her room.
Although the footsteps are gone, I don't trust that the source of them has disappeared as well. I better stay up until morning to make sure that the source doesn't find its way in here. One thing is for certain. Somebody knows I was out there.
Bonini sat down at her desk and reviewed the deaths of Stronigan, Fanart, and Isaac, with the discovery of what the liquid in the syringe is.
If salt water was injected into the veins, then Stronigan and Banner must have died from hemolysis, but that doesn't explain how Bunnington died.
She ran through the events of the first night and the sudden death of Isaac Bunnington as she began rationalizing how Bunnington had been killed. Suddenly, she had an epiphany and stood up. As she stood up, she felt dizzy, and out of the corner of her eye, she saw the door to the wardrobe in her room had been open, and a dark figure loomed in the corner of her room. She tried to balance herself by grabbing onto the desk, but her legs gave way, and she blacked out. Chapter 7. Strawthorn laid awake on his bed, quietly staring up at the ceiling.
Not Bonini.
The clock in his room ticked away the seconds, minutes, and hours of the night. But to Strawthorn, it all felt like the same moment passing by. He sat up and walked over to the desk in his room, where he opened up the drawer and pulled out a children's book. Strawthorn sat down at his desk and reached into his pocket, and he pulled out a family photo. In the picture, Strawthorn was holding a small girl on his shoulders, while holding one hand with a woman and the other with a small boy. He smiled sadly at the image and placed it down in front of him before taking a deep breath and opening up the book.
Hey there, Ann. How you been, Jacob? Your dad's been so busy recently, he hasn't been able to read you guys any stories. It must have been hard going to sleep these last few days without a story to listen to.
Oh, sorry, my big fat
today
head's
you found
in the
this
way.
book in the library of this place, and I think you guys will like the story.
Strawthorn cleared his throat and began to read the story.
Okay. It begins with a young prince who was a rowdy kid and would always pick fights with his sister.
There's a little ice dock.
The king would scold the young prince and punish him harshly for teasing his sister, but he failed to see that the young prince could only show his love for his sister by annoying her and teasing her. One day, the young prince had gone a little too far and had accidentally hurt his sister. The king was furious when he found out and sent the young prince away to live with his aunt, the Duchess.
What? That's not fair. He was just playing around.
That's what he gets for being mean to his sister. Now be quiet. I want to hear what happens next.
The The young prince was treated terribly by the Duchess, who had been jealous of her younger brother, the king, because he had stolen the crown from her. The Countess would dress the prince in rags and make him sleep in the barn with all the dirty farm animals. She would only let him eat his meals on the porch, and the only time he was allowed inside the main house was to shower
of all the
and
other
clean the
photos
house.
versus this one.
Day in and day out, the young prince had been worked to the bone and fed only enough to keep him going the next day. Meanwhile, the young princess had started missing her older brother's antics and would ask to see him. However, whenever the young prince was brought up, the king would change the subject by talking about a new trip that he could take the princess on. The princess would continue to ask about the young prince before finally she grew tired and decided one night to sneak out of the castle. The young princess took one of her horses from the stable and rode out to the countryside to find her brother. When the princess got to the farm where her aunt lived, she didn't see the prince anywhere. She tied up her horse to the fence post and walked around looking for the prince. She passed by the barn door where a small boy covered in dirt, dressed in torn-up clothes, was sleeping in a pile of hay. The princess looked closer at the boy and gasped as she realized it was her older brother. She quickly ran back to her horse and untied it before riding back to the castle at full speed to tell her father. Once she returned to the castle, she ran up to the king's room and shook him awake. She told the king about what she saw, but the king didn't believe her and instead was angry at the princess for sneaking out at night. The princess cried and begged her father to at least visit the prince to check on him, and the king reluctantly agreed. The next day, the king sent a messenger to his older sister to let him know that he was going to be checking up on the prince, and so the Duchess quickly washed up the former prince and dressed him up in the fanciest clothes. She adorned him with the finest jewelry in her collection and threatened him to not say a single word about how he was being treated to the king. The young prince frightfully complied, and soon the king arrived at the Duchess' house.
What a sneaky lady! That's not right at all. The princess has to tell his dad that evil Duchess has been doing to him.
Annie's right. She can't just pretend that she's been nice to the prince when she hasn't been. Doesn't she know lying is really bad? And her dad will hit her if she lies. Strawthorn paused for a moment as a hint of guilt flashes across his face.
The king has a grand feast at the Duchess' house, and they caught up on the many years they hadn't seen each other. The Duchess lied to the king about all the fun the young prince was having, and how out here in the farm all his excess energy was easily dealt with by playing with all the animals and running around the pretty green pasture. The young prince bit his lip as he wanted to tell his father what was really going on, but anytime he looked like he was about to intervene, the Duchess would shoot him a warning glare and painfully pinch his leg. The princess tried to help her older brother, but it was in vain, and as the night came to an end, the king
Oh, that's why. Okay, there we go.
decided that the young prince would be better off staying out here in the farm, where he could study and use his energy freely, instead of keeping him holed up in his room in the castle, where he would only cause trouble by teasing his sister. The king then set off to the castle, where the princess and the younger prince once again remained at the farm.
Those were from Toka.
Days turned to weeks, and weeks into months, as the young prince had to deal with his aunt's terrible treatment all day, every day. After dinner, the princess would visit her brother.
I know, who else would they be from? Of course they're from Toka.
But one night, the princess was caught sneaking out, and her horse was taken away and sent to a racing circuit in the far west.
That's so sad. I really hate this evil Duchess.
Yeah, that's totally not cool. But the princess is really brave for sneaking out in the dark, where there could be wolves and bears just to cheer her brother up. Strawthorn smiled faintly as he flipped the page and continued reading.
With his sister now banned from visiting him, the young prince fell into despair as he continued to be worked hard every day. Finally, one night, as the young prince was crying on the haystack, a small fairy came down from the moon. Little prince,
the music.
Why do you cry so bitterly? The young prince was shocked to see a moon fairy, but considered it a small blessing from his sister. Oh, great moon fairy, I cannot possibly deal with my evil aunt anymore. My hands are cut up
Me
and
when I
bloody
have an
from
evil
fixing the
aunt.
cow fence. My clothes is dirty and stinky from cleaning out the pig pen. My hair is more tangled and ugly than the nest of a vulture. Why, oh why, great moon fairy, must I continue to live this way? I'm not even allowed the comfort of seeing my sister anymore. Poor
Chat, I have a question
my heart
for you.
weeps for your tragic situation.
If I could only
Do you
have
wish to
one
be
eye
free from this
color,
place?
like either just
Oh,
red,
great moon fairy, please,
or
I
just
wish for it more
green.
than anything else in this world.
Which one would you pick?
I wish I could apologize to my sister for hurting her that day. I wish I could apologize to my father for causing him so much trouble. But more than that, I wish to be free. Please, take me up to the moon with you, great fairy. Are you sure
lots of
that is what
greens
you
out
want,
there.
little prince?
I always wonder what I look
Even
like
if it means that you will never
with
see your
just
sister or
one
father
eye
again.
color.
The young
Or
prince
would I look
nodded
weird, you
and
think?
stretched out his arms to the moon fairy. Very
If
well,
I was
little prince.
two red eyes or
However,
two green
I
eyes?
do not have the strength to carry you up to the moon. Instead, I will bestow upon you the sacred rope, which I will bring up with me and tie around the moon. When the rope stretches tight, jump with all your might and reach for the moon. I will have all the fairies of the moon pull you up, and you can be
Innocent
free
Yui
from this
or
evil
yandere?
place that you have found yourself in.
So
Yandere.
the prince is finally free?
It's such a
Will
fun
he
word.
turn into a moon fairy too, or will he be the only human up there?
Why would he leave his
You would-
sister all alone
you
on
would
Earth,
love
though?
Yandere
What about when she
Yui
grows up and
too,
gets her own
yeah.
horse? Then she can save her brother and bring him back to the castle.
Sometimes when people find themselves in really bad places like an evil Duchess farm, they will only think about how bad today is and how wonderful yesterday was, because they cannot see how beautiful the
You're into
future is.
yandere.
That's terrible.
I've thought about
I
doing
really hope that
a
prince can find a
yandere
way to come back
ASMR
to
at some
Earth
point.
later.
The moon fairy flew up faster than a lightning bolt and tied a big knot around the moon. The fairy then gave the signal, and the young prince jumped as high as he could and grabbed onto the magic rope, where the moon fairies pulled together with all their might until the young prince made it safely on the moon. The young prince looked down on the world and saw that his little sister had bought herself a new horse and was riding to the farm to see her brother once more. The princess arrived at the farm that night and went to the barn. She peeked inside and saw that the prince was nowhere to be found. Instead, there was a short note that told the princess not to worry, because he was free now and living on the moon with the great moon fairies. The princess
like
was
his
overcome with
music.
sadness and rode back to the castle, where she cried bitterly on her bed.
Strawthorn's voice begins to shake.
It's from Toho.
The
That makes
princess
sense.
prayed to the moon
That makes a
fairies
lot of sense.
and asked them to let her brother come back down
That's
to the
very.
world.
That's very Freddles. That's
However,
very
her prayers went
Freddles.
unanswered for many moons, until one night a moon fairy floated down onto her windowsill. Little princess, why do you pray so fervently to return your brother to this world that has only done wrong to him? Please, great moon fairy, my brother did not get a chance to see how beautiful the sea is on the other side of the mountain. He has yet to see how beautiful the forest is in the springtime. It is not fair to show him only the cold winter and take him away to a fall summer. If you cannot bring him back, then please take me to him. Very well, dear princess, you speak the truth. The prince could only see the winter, but he is happy here on the moon and does not wish to return. However, I can reunite you with him, and you two can play among the beautiful fields on the far side of the moon.
I'm not surprised that
Take
he
these
was
magic
happy
wings,
about it.
and when the full
It was
moon
all
shines,
Toho?
you must
It was all
jump
Toho.
with
It
all
was
your
always
might,
Toho.
and the wings will let you soar
It's
up
like
to
that
the moon,
meme.
where you could find your brother once again.
A few tears pulled up in Strawthorn's eyes as he flipped to the next page.
And so on the night of the full moon, the princess wore her lunar wings and jumped as high as she could.
Dude, he
At
actually
first,
sounds
the
like he's
wings
gonna
shook a
cry.
little and she fell. But she pictured her older brother waiting for her on the moon.
Dude,
and she
Sundown
began
needs to
soar
get
to the moon.
into voice acting.
Finally, after witnessing many wondrous sights, she watched the world disappear from under her, and she landed on the moon with her brother. The two siblings finally reunited, and they ran off to play in the beautiful lunar fields past the west wind on the far side of the moon. The next day, the king woke up and could not find the princess anywhere. When he entered her room, he found a letter written to him, telling him once more of all the evil deeds of the Duchess and of her journey to the moon. The king was overcome with rage and sorrow as he realized his actions in the past were misguided. He took his fastest horse and rode off to the Duchess' house, where he struck down the Duchess and brought her before the gods at the end of the world for judgment. Many moons would pass once more, and at the end of the king's reign, a moon fairy came down from the heavens and brought him up to reunite with the prince and the princess.
Moon fairy.
There, they continue to live happily ever after.
Strawthorn closed the book as a stream of tears quietly ran down his face.
Aww.
He took the picture and returned it to his pocket. At that moment, he heard a thump in the room next door, and quickly wiped his tears. He removed the chair from the handle and briskly walked to Dr. Bernini's room, where he softly knocked on the door. There was no answer. He knocked a little louder.
No!
Yet he was only met with silence. Finally, he turned the knob to find it unlocked, cautiously entered the room. On the ground, he saw Dr. Bernini lying unnaturally, and he quickly ran up to her. He noticed she had stopped breathing, and he quickly turned around, only to be met with a mass of wood, and then nothingness. Chapter 8.
No!
Sir Foxy arose in the middle of the night and felt something amiss.
No! Not Dr. Vanini! Not Chunyao! You're telling me that Chunyao is not in the last, half hour of this whole film? This is so depressing. I'm so upset. No! Chunyao! I'll avenge you. Whoever murdered you, I'll avenge you. I will. I promise. I'll avenge you, Chunyao.
The air felt a little heavier, and a slight metallic scent permeated the room. Outside, the wind howled and occasionally rattled the windows.
So sad.
Foxy got out of his bed and changed out of his pajamas. He then removed the chair from the door handle and slowly went out into the hallway. What should have been a pitch-black hallway was instead illuminated softly by the moonlight shining through an open door. Sir Foxy slowly approached the open door which belonged to Strawthorn's room, but it was completely empty inside. A quick search of the room turned up nothing particularly useful, other than the fact that the bed was still warm and dots of water were lining the wooden desktop. Sir Foxy left the room and looked around. He first returned to his room and did a thorough inspection, which produced nothing other than a guarantee that nobody was there. Next, Sir Foxy stood in front of Bunlock's room and pressed his ear against the door. The soft sound of Bunlock sleeping could be heard, and so Sir Foxy left and went across the hallway to the last room where Dr. Bernini should be. He placed his ear against the door and heard nothing at all, so he grabbed the knob and turned it to see if the room was open. Sure enough, as soon as he turned the knob and gave the door a little push, it creaked open. Sir Foxy cautiously stepped into the room and froze as he saw two bodies lying on the ground. One appeared to be in a peaceful slumber, while the other was bleeding profusely from its head. Sir Foxy immediately began searching the room and found what appeared to be the notes of Dr. Bernini.
I was able to confirm that the substance in the syringe is salt water from the ocean. The bacteria inside of it is likely what caused the death of both Bunner and Stronican. However, this does not explain the death of Bunnington. I suspect that some combination of the salt water and some other chemical caused a rapid onset of anemia, and that caused Bunnington to collapse and die so rapidly. I believe the culprit is onto me, and so I will not have the time to find out what that unknown chemical is. I can guarantee, staking my title as a doctor, my pride as a scientist, that the bacteria that I found in the saltwater sample came from the southwestern region due to the shape of the bacteria, and the death of the bacteria when exposed briefly to the cold. I hope that this letter can aid the one who finds me, or at the very least that it can help the police in their investigation when they finally come.
The slight sound of someone shuffling their feet alerted Sir Foxy, and he turned around just in time to see a dark figure swinging something at him. He quickly evaded the swing and landed a punch across the figure's head. The figure made a soft pained noise and began running away. Sir Foxy ran after it and reached for its clothes, but missed it by a millimeter. The figure ran down the stairs and skipped half the flight by jumping down it. But Sir Foxy kept up with it enough to not lose sight. The figure ran towards the basement door, where it tried to open it, but failed due to it being locked, and seemed to panic as it ran into the dining hall. Sir Foxy gave chase to it and ran into the dining hall, where he heard glass breaking and saw the figure steal the silver box where the 2 master keys had been placed. Sir Foxy sprinted towards the figure as it fumbled with the box and dropped it, but not without first grabbing hold of a master key and running away again. The figure ran towards where Bunnington's body was resting, and Sir Foxy continued after it with a bit of relief as he knew this hallway was a dead end except for the room where Bunnington was lying. Sir Foxy gave one last burst of energy and turned the corner where he saw the figure and charged at it. However, at the very last moment, the figure feinted Sir Foxy, and he stumbled before crashing into the wall. The figure took this opportunity to run back down the hallway, as Sir Foxy recovered and silently cursed the figure. While returning to his pursuit of it, he saw the figure unlock the door to the stairwell leading down to the pantry, and Sir Foxy chased after it. The stairway spiraled down into what felt like a bottomless void, but Sir Foxy tore down it as he recognized his only chance to catch the killer was now, and he could not let that chance slip by his fingers. Sir Foxy reached the bottom of the stairs, where he looked around the pantry and saw the light of the freezer on. Sir Foxy grabbed a knife from the counter and approached the freezer. Just as he was about to step into the freezer, he stopped and spun around, where he caught the dark figure emerging from the shadows and approaching the figure to lock him in. The figure noticed that it had been found out and instantly changed tactic to running up the stairs. Sir Foxy was enraged at what felt like a high-stakes game of tag, as he vaulted over the countertops, knocking the contents off in the process, while speeding after the figure, which had now already gotten halfway up the stairwell. In an effort to at least not lose sight of this target, Sir Foxy blitzed up the stairs as he skipped 2 steps at a time, allowing him to ascend at an almost inhuman pace. Sir Foxy picked up a significant amount of momentum and ascended the final half of the stairs, skipping 3 steps at a time, as he caught a glimpse of the figure slamming the door and locking it before running to the right. Instead of slowing down to avoid crashing into the door, Sir Foxy increased his pace even further as he reached an incredible speed and launched his body at the door with all the momentum he had gathered.
Knock it down.
The force of Sir Foxy's body slamming into the door was so great that it broke the door and flung it open so fast it flew off its hinges and landed on the floor. Sir Foxy gripped his shoulder as he felt a sharp pain erupt and spread throughout it. Even without any medical knowledge, he could sense that he would be lucky if the bone was only broken. He winced as he felt his shattered shoulder move slightly, and he looked up to see the figure entering the boiler room. Instantly, Sir Foxy's pain was replaced with a reignited rage as he chased after the figure. Sir Foxy kicked open the door to the boiler room and saw the figure in the corner moving some boxes where it seemed a small vent was.
Where do you think you're running off to, you cowardly, wretched mutt? Do you realize who it is that you're running from? Your cheap tricks and dirty tactics won't work against the likes of me.
The figure scrambled to move the boxes out of the way as Sir Foxy slowly approached it. Sir Foxy grabbed a nearby coal sack and placed a piece of coal in it before he spun the bag and slung the piece of coal, launching it at a great speed towards the figure. The figure was knocked back by the coal hitting it, and it dropped to the ground. Sir Foxy closed in on it and stopped right in front of the incinerator, where he reached in and grabbed a few hot coals with the bag and dragged the bag across the floor.
There's nowhere left for you to run off to, you filthy dingo. This is the end of the line for you, and it's a fitting place to end your pitiful existence. Although I suppose that would be an insult to this room, because not even the soot on the bottom of the old boiler here is darker than your soul, and the flames of the incinerator would almost be too good of a reward for you to die in. You, who has taken the life of the only person I ever saw as my equal, not deserve the honor of dying in the same estate that he did. You, who has insulted my intelligence by thinking I wouldn't notice your pathetic attempt at the only thing you are good at, a sneak attack. You spineless wretch, who now lies knocked down before me, does not even earn the right to gaze upon me, let alone the privilege of dying by my hand. Seeing as you love to play judge, jury, and executioner, I will bestow upon you 3 punishments for the aforementioned sins you have committed against me. For the pain you have inflicted upon me, I will use this hot coals to give you a preview of a fraction of the fires of hell that will soon burn your soul. For the death of my one and only friend, I will drag you down to the freezer where you can feel the same cold, empty room that you took his precious life in. Finally, for your pride at assuming that I would even entertain the idea of ending you with my hands, I will end your disgusting existence by breaking your kneecaps and chawing your hands in the incinerator over dragging your worthless, pathetic, nauseating existence out into the blizzard where the wolves can feast on your insides while you still breathe.
The figure slowly rose to its feet as Sir Foxy approached it with a bag of red-hot coals. Sir Foxy spun the bag around, allowing it to gain momentum at such an incredible speed that the coals began burning even hotter from the combined friction of the air rushing past it and the other coals rubbing against one another. Just as Sir Foxy was about to release the bag, the figure stood up and hurled the piece of coal it had been hit with, causing Sir Foxy to use the bag he was winding up to knock it away. However, the momentum of the bag was so great that it tore open as Sir Foxy swung it to the side, which caused the hot coals in it to fly off to the side and smash against the nearest boiler. Pieces of red-hot coal chunks flew everywhere, and a few sliced into Sir Foxy. He stumbled backwards in pain as a shard of coal embedded itself into his broken shoulder. The figure took this moment to lug a half-empty crate of coal at Sir Foxy, which took him down to the ground. Once Sir Foxy slammed into the ground, the figure stepped forward and twisted its body, using both the torsion of its torso and the strength in its outstretched leg to chuck a piece of coal at Sir Foxy's head so hard that it knocked him out. The figure then stumbled
Foxy,
up
this
to
is
Sir
why
Foxy
they
and
say
pulled out a
that
small blade
you
from the
just have
necklace
to
it was
end it
wearing
instead of
that it
talking.
used to end Sir Foxy's life. Chapter 9. Bunlock slowly stirred from his rest as the soft rays of the sun pierced the clouds and beautiful white snowflakes softly floated down to the ground. He stretched his arms and got out of bed.
I like how everybody's had a hell of
The
a
warmth
night and
of the
Watcher's
room
just like,
seemed to cling to him as he removed the
good
chair from
morning.
under his doorknob. He opened the door and was immediately assaulted by the metallic scent of blood in the air, and the sight of Strawthorn and Dr. Bonini's lifeless bodies across the hall. Bunlock stared silently at the impossible scene before him before he regained his wits and ran over to Bonini's room. On the floor he saw 2 scraps of paper.
Countess Strabinicus found bludgeoned on her farm. Early this morning, the milkman discovered the brutalized corpse of Countess Strabinicus, but no weapon was found at or around
I
the
should have
scene
shut
of
up
crime.
when I had the chance. Yeah, you can never do the monologue.
Returning home late last night from Countess Strabinicus's farm,
Should have
they
just
saw
smacked
her younger
him.
brother entering the farm. However, authorities have been unable to find Sundown Strawthorn and instead found his house burnt to the ground. Out of all the ones I found, this is probably the worst. It's almost inconceivable to think a quiet man like Strawthorn would do something of this caliber.
Bunlock then read the next newspaper clipping.
Local clinic shut down after nurses find the body of the director. The opening shift of nurses discovered the body of director Yuketa Anna Owen. They immediately contacted police, and after the crime scene was investigated, they helped to find the cause of death. The nurses found an unnatural lack of red blood cells in the director's body despite no open wounds.
Wow.
They consulted a close friend of the director's, Chunyao Bonini, and it was discovered that the director had suffered a bout of severe anemia and died as a result. A few months later, the case was revisited after an autopsy was conducted and Chunyao Bonini was called to court.
I'm so sad.
However, she had disappeared shortly after giving her consultation. Now a collection of eyewitness testimonies and new evidence has placed Dr. Bonini as the lead suspect in the case.
No! Free my girl, she didn't do
Bunlock
nothing
looked
wrong.
down to the floor with a syringe he had her analyzing
There's
and
almost
smashed
8. How much do we have left? We've
up.
17 minutes. We can finish it.
Bunlock then left the room and went
We
to
can
check up on
finish
Sir
it.
Foxy when he noticed his door was also open, but the room was empty. Bunlock wandered around the estate as the sun shone through the windows, creating an ironically peaceful and pleasant setting. He checked the dining hall first, but it was empty. Then the first floor rooms, they were all empty as well, save for the one Bennington was laid in to rest. He noticed the door leading to the pantry was completely torn off the hinges, and he carefully descended into the pantry, where he found a mess of food, drink, and ingredients all over the floor. However, there was no sign of Sir Foxy being present. Finally, he checked the boiler room, where he found Sir Foxy lying in a pool of drying blood.
No!
He had scrapes all over his face and arms, and a piece of coal was embedded in his shoulder. What had finished him off was a small incision into his jugular. Bunlock stood in partial disbelief and a strange sense of relief that it was all over. On the corner of the nearest boiler was yet another newspaper clipping.
Nation in mourning as Grand Duke Univik Golden Bun is found dead. This morning, the head servant of the Golden Bun estate discovered his master had passed away in his sleep. The police investigated the scene but found no evidence of foul play and have deemed it a natural death. A messenger was sent to his son, Sir Foxy Unalicious Golden Bun Esquire III, but he was not at home. Locals say they saw him leave last night in his father's car, which has since been found abandoned at a local mall.
As Bunlock turned to leave, he noticed another paper on the floor.
Police headquarters receives written confession from the killer of Grand Duke Univich Golden Bun.
Oh.
An independent investigative reporter recently discovered that the Usachi Stan police had received a confession from Sir Foxy Unalicious Golden Bun Esquire III, detailing the killing of his father by his hands. Upon hearing the news, our glorious leader, Usachi Yui herself, announced an internal investigation into corruption in the Usachi Stan Central Police.
Bunlock walked back to his room, where he sat down at his desk and gathered all the newspaper clippings he had collected across the days. He arranged them in the order that he found them in and began to think about all the deaths that occurred over the last few days. He stared blankly at the newspaper clippings and sighed heavily, accidentally causing one of the clippings to fall onto the ground. Bunlock reached down to pick up the newspaper clipping and noticed that it was flipped upside down and had some writing on it. He immediately flipped all the other clippings around and stared in awe at this new discovery. He lined them all up in order of acquisition and froze for a second.
Wait, no, this is absolutely insane. But it also makes so much sense. Okay, the first death was a mixture of salt water and lead. According to the notes left by Dr. Benini and that textbook I looked in, those two together can cause a severe anemic effect. Following that, Bunner was killed in a similar manner, but it seems like just salt water was used. That means that the culprit only had a limited amount of lead on hand. It looks like Shakowski was led into a room via a cassette player that had recordings of my voice and then suffocated. I'm a little hurt that he thought that I had anything to do with the first two deaths, but I also can't help but admire that he was able to catch on to foul play as early as then. Benedict was killed via a tripwire system of sorts. It looks like someone dragged him to the very back of the freezer to lure more people in. Strachan was found in the same room that Benedict was found in, but it was after he had already split up with Sir Foxy. Stranakin was then found dead in his bed and a syringe left there with him. I believe that by that point, the killer had been taunting us. Now I can say for certain that Stranakin died the same way that Bunner did. Finally are the three deaths that occurred last night. First, Benini was killed because she was the first to leave her room. I'm not sure why, but maybe she had an epiphany of her own. Just with more unfortunate timing. I imagine that the killer followed her, and once they discovered that she had figured out the contents of the syringe, they hid in her room and then watched her work a little longer and killed her with the very syringe that she had been studying. Then the killer intentionally dropped Benini's body to alert Strawthorn, and then ambushed and killed him. They continued to hide in Benini's room, and it seems as though Sir Foxy woke up at some point and noticed that something was off. From there, I can only assume that a chase ensued after a failed attempt on Sir Foxy's life, though it ultimately culminated in the death of Sir Foxy in the boiler. And with all of this evidence laid out, there is only one, a single irrefutable truth, a certainty most foul and concrete. Only one twisted individual could have possibly done this. And that person...
He trails off, walking out the door, holding for dramatic effect. He jumped up in excitement as everything began clicking in his head, and he quickly ran down the hallway. He reached the stairs and began running down when he misplaced his footing and lost balance.
Oh no!
What? Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
In an instant, Bunlock tumbled down the last few steps and landed on the ground head first as a terrible cracking sound rang out through the halls, signifying the end. Epilogue. My life has been one of shame.
No
At a young
way,
age, I understood
dude!
that I wouldn't amount to much.
Wait, that's
My
crazy!
grades were average. My dreams
The
were
killer
average.
could only be
My
dies.
friends were average. And my parents? Well, I never really knew them. I still distinctly remember the very first day I saw death. I had run off into the forest with my friends when I accidentally strayed too far off the trail and had gotten lost. I was terrified and wandered around aimlessly before I stumbled upon a cottage. The cottage had no lights on, and it was eerily quiet. At first, I thought it had been
That's
abandoned,
actually so crazy.
but as I looked around the cottage for a bathroom, I saw the remains of a lost soul who had given up hope. I wasn't put off by the stench of death or by the grisly sight that lay before me. Instead, I felt a profound sense of pity for the man, and it was that pity and sorrow that stayed with me all my life. I found a map in the cottage and was able to safely return to my town, where I went to the orphanage I grew up in and decided to talk to the head sister about what I had seen. The head sister was a beautiful lady who had the kindest smile and a truly wonderful personality. Whenever the other kids at the Whenever the other kids at the orphanage would bully me.
What are the other kids at the... What the fuck? What are the other kids? So glad that's kept in.
Whenever the other kids at the orphanage would bully me, she would always cheer me up and punish the bullies. When I told my tale to the head sister,
Sucks, man.
she had a concerned expression on her face, and before asking why I was in the forest or why I had run off the trail, she made sure that I was feeling okay. I told her how I felt when I saw the body, and she seemed to understand. She then recommended I come to a study group that she led with her fellow sisters.
Study group?
And that was how I came to discover Uiism. Oh, how wonderful the light of our great leader is! I felt a profound connection to the teachings passed down by our great leader, and admired her bravery and selflessness. I read all the tales of her great victories in the Revolution and the Great War, as well as her reconstruction efforts in Straubania and all across Usachistan that led it to become the glorious nation it is now. However, our great leader is only one person, and even among the honorable Strawbunnies lie cowards who ran away from the scales of justice. And so I devised a plan to invite the 9 other guests to Unich Norman's estate, which I had secretly acquired through a connection I had in the church. I found my targets and sent out letters posing as her victims to lure them in. I made sure to set the date for the middle of February, when the chance for a snowstorm still remains high, but not high enough to warrant preparing for one. In this sense, I like to think our great leader lent me a bit of her luck to seal those evildoers in here, which allowed me to carry out my plan without interruption. Then I carried out my plan. I'm sure at this point the specifics of the manner of each person's death has probably been explained by that dastardly detective. so I won't bore you with a recap. Instead, I'll go over the final piece of the puzzle that's missing, the howdunit. Starting with Isaac Bunnington. After having Stronikin set off the cassette player with the accusations, I laced the only bottle of whiskey that was there with potassium cyanide. In this sense, Bunnington was partially unlucky to have taken that specific bottle, or so I would like to say. During dinner, I had poured him whiskey from that bottle multiple times and praised the flavor, which gave him a sense of familiarity and comfort with it. Then I left it on top of the bar's countertop, where I knew he would go to, under duress.
I know you lent Freddles your coat,
Once we
and then
arrived at the
Freddles
kitchen
killed you.
and Isaac read the clipping I'd planted, it was just a matter of waiting for his body to give up. Next was Ulivian Bunner. Although he has retired, I cannot let a former Bun Bud commander roam the streets freely, especially after reading what he did to his fellow comrade. I understand not all Bun Buds are bad, but anyone who betrays their brethren and disrespects the sanctity of life cannot be allowed to go unpunished. After Bunner went to bed that night, I entered his room using one of the master keys and simply injected him with seawater. Kaz Strakowski was a bit trickier. Quite frankly, I was not expecting him to catch on to foul play so quickly, but I'm glad that he decided to target his suspicion at Bunlock. I tailed Strakowski and recorded snippets of Bunlock's voice, which I then used to lure him into the closest first-floor room I could find, with a large wardrobe. After luring him in, I was planning on sneaking up on him, but it seems he noticed something was off and almost made it out of the room. Thankfully, I was able to stun him with the lights and then suffocate him. Then it was Kenryu Benedict.
Thankfully, I was able to suffocate him.
Chef, but it was through his food that he allowed his partner in crime, Stronikin, to kill their former master. As I was ascending with Sir Foxy, I told him I had dropped something and to walk a little ahead of me, where I then placed the key off to the side of the stairwell and set up a small tripwire. Once I heard Bunnington fall down the stairs, we both ran down to check on him, and since he took the tripwire down with him on his fall, I didn't need to worry about it. It's here where I must admit a bit of deception was used. Benedict was lying where he died at the foot of the stairs, and Sir Foxy and I simply carried him up the stairs. Next was the most difficult to set up. Before any of this was set into motion, I had a body double of me created for what I said was going to be a promotional video for the church, that I needed a body double to do a stunt. I brought this body double and dressed it up in an extra pair of clothes I had in my closet, and then froze it down in the freezer. Then I simply lured in Strawthorn, Bunlock, and Sir Foxy, who could all act as witnesses for each other, but also could equally share the suspicion from the remaining guests. And then they brought my body double up to the surface. Stronikin was easy to deal with, as I merely dressed up like the lost son of his former master's family, and used the pendant that Benedict had conveniently found to convince him that this was all a revenge scheme to get back at him. Finally, we have the 4 remaining guests. For Dr. Bonini, I simply hid in her room and struck when the time was right. Then I made enough noise to alert Strawthorn, who was in the room next door, and struck him across the head with a wooden chair leg. However, this is where my luck ran out a bit, as I was planning on sneaking into Sir Foxy's room and poisoning him as well, but it seems like he woke up and unexpectedly chose to leave his room. My luck further ran out when he sensed my sneak attack and managed to land a hit on me. I then had to lead him on a wild goose chase, and he nearly got me there at the end. If he hadn't thrown that piece of coal at me, I would have seriously been screwed. At last, there's Bunlock Watcher. Going into this, I believed he would be my greatest threat, and so that's why I left newspaper clippings around the crime scenes to lead him on a meaningless hunt, and also to provide enough context to let him slowly figure it out. I wasn't counting on him being so clumsy, though. You're wondering what he did that got him selected as one of my targets? Well, he was tied to that massive corruption case, and was also the one assigned to each of the other members' cases. In fact, the reason everyone conveniently disappeared was due to his interference. Well, with that said, it's time for me to take my leave. By the time this has been read, the police will have found me dead in my guest room. I do not intend to go on living, now that I myself have become the very people I hunted. I understand that my pursuit of personal justice does not give me the right to take the lives of others, but I feel the world as a whole would be better off with less murderers running around the streets. I'm not one for goodbyes, but this time it's truly the end of my act, and I must walk off the stage that we call life. Farewell.
Damn! Guys, I honestly never expected that it would be Freddles. That's crazy. Oh, directed by Freddles. Written by Freddles. For dude, just get to the cast already. Studio! Kai, Sundown, Freddles! Foxy, Eber, Isaac. Guys, you guys are awesome. Hato, Feeble, Ken! Evie! Oh, it was Finale! Finale! Finale, my beloved. Tokaku Deun. Oh! All the designs are really cute, by the way. You guys did a really wonderful job. Tamago! Terwin! It's kind of crazy just how many of you were involved in this. Guys, that was really good. Let's go over here. I really enjoyed it. That's so cool. That was a whole feature film, and it was super sick. Oh my gosh, that was really cool. Guys, I really liked it. I was very invested. Extremely invested. Oh my gosh. That was really good. I really liked it. I never would have expected that it was Freddles at the very end. That's so cool. That's really cool. Wow. Good job, everyone. Thank you for such a wonderful gift. I really love it. I really love it. That was really cool. Oh my gosh. Thank you. It was really interesting. So that was the best movie I've seen this year. The best movie. Oh. Sorry, I was opening up my thing and YouTube was giving me a message. Badoo badoo badoo. Badoo 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 doo. Badoo boo badoo boo badoo boo. Badoo boo badoo doo. Okay, we're going to raid Miss Nana, by the way. Because I'm gonna go to sleep, I think. I'm very tired. I'm eepy. Sleepiness. Super duper eepy. I know! Nana's playing High on Life too. I will see you guys tomorrow for League of Legends with Serena. Can you believe it? League of Legends! We're playing League of Legends. Wah! Wah, 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 wah. I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. Thank you guys! I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. I guess League can't be that bad. Hopefully not. I love the kazoo. Have a wonderful night, everybody! Have a wonderful night. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Let me give you a kiss. Mwah. Sleep well, okay? Or stay awake well. Have good night. Yeah, okay. Bye bye, everyone. Bye. good.